Now, Amy Lewis is live at the Liberty Stadium for us. Amy, good evening to you. What's deadline been like down there in Swansea today?
Well, Gomez, of course, there was a big question as to whether or not he would be staying here. He did tweet this afternoon and say that he wanted to stay at the Liberty, despite earlier on in this window saying that he would be leaving. Now, sources just tell us that West Ham have put in a £7 million bid, which had been rejected, and Crystal Palace have put in several bids, including one for £9 million. Now, the player's agent told me earlier on that he would be staying here, that he was going to be focused on doing well, doing a similar thing, hopefully, he said, to what Boney had done when he'd scored a lot of goals and then managed to get the move that he wanted. But he did say that Gomez will be reassessing the situation next summer. Now, in terms of overall what's been happening here this window, of course, they had that sale of Wilfred Bonny, who went to Manchester City for £28 million. I asked Hugh Jenkins here, the chairman, earlier on, what they were going to be doing with that money, and he said, well, there wouldn't be any more deals tonight. He didn't think in or out of the club, but he did say that they was hoping that they could reinvest a lot of that money that they hadn't spent with regards to putting it back into stadium expansion and also trying to buy the stadium here from the council. There's been a lot of talk recently about Swansea and about the fact that they have been looking for outside investment. Questions been asked about whether or not the club was for sale, but the chairman this evening has told me 100% that the club itself is not up for sale. This is what he had to say.
The club has never been for sale, and there's been speculation, there's been interest, and I think where we are now in the Premier League, the club is attracting a lot of interest with the coverage on Sky TV and on all the live games right across the world. It's a big thing to be involved in, and no doubt Swansea is gaining a lot of publicity for that. There'll always be interest. The way we run the club, success we're having on the field, it's a good thing for us, good thing for the city, but it'll always provide speculation. But as long as we're successful, it'll be a good thing.
The club have told me this evening that Ryan Hedges, a young forward, is going to spend the rest of the season at League One club Leyton Orient. That loan spell has been extended, but they have told me not to expect any more news from here this evening.
OK, Amy, thank you very much indeed for that. Right, let's go to Alan Irwin, who's at Everton then. Could we see a midfielder coming in and one going out possibly, Alan? What can you tell us?
Yeah, there is potential for that. The window has still got a good few hours to run, and I'm in constant dialogue with Everton here at the training complex, and there are some strong possibilities that Aaron Lennon may well now be one of the favourites to sign here for Everton. I know he's been touted about a number of clubs throughout the day with Hull City and Stoke, of course, showing real interest, and it could well be that Stoke and Everton are now firm favourites to try and land Aaron Lennon potentially on a loan deal for the end of the season. But that in itself may well see Kevin Morales heading in the opposite direction. So no denial here from Everton that something could well happen over the course of the next few. There was talk of Sylvain Distin moving out on a potential loan deal to West Ham now that he's out of contract at the end of the season, but that's looking more unlikely as the hours progress. But now the talk around here is that Aaron Lennon could well be a possible target for Everton over the course of the next couple of hours. We'll continue the investigations here with the sources that we have inside Everton's training complex.
We always expect Tottenham to be busy on deadline day. Sky sources have told us the big news. Dele Alli is having the final parts of his medical ahead of a 5-year deal. This deal is close, with hours to go.
That story to come here on Sky Sports News HQ. Right, let's get to Aston Villa training ground, and Pete Colley's there for us. Good evening, Pete.
Good evening. Well, there have been strong rumours coming, not from here, but from Merseyside, that Aston Villa had a bid accepted for Ricky Lambert. Now, I'm told by my sources that that isn't the case. Aston Villa have had a lot of interest throughout this window in Ricky Lambert, and I believe that they've spoken to Liverpool. They haven't actually spoken to the There's Ricky Lambert, he's 32, a lifelong Liverpool fan, finally got his chance to go and play at Anfield, and I think they've had a big job on their hands trying to persuade him to come to Aston Villa. So I can tell you now that my sources inside the club are saying that this deal won't happen. Big rumours about Ricky Lambert, but it's not going to happen, and as the clock ticks away, it's looking unlikely here at Bodymoor Heath, at Villa's training ground. Paul Lambert's here, Tom Fox, the chief exec's here, but as the clock ticks down, it's looking unlikely that there's going to be any business here today.
Pete, thank you. So that deal's not happening, but the breaking news in the last few minutes, we understand this one is Tottenham in advanced talks with MK Dons to sign Dele Alli. We'll be live to Tottenham next.
Sure sponsors this programme. Do more with Sure.
Remember in the beginning, when you loved to explore, to examine, to ask, why stop now? New Citroën C4 Cactus, Top Gear Magazine's Hatchback of the Year.
Citroën, créative technologie.
If you ever need to ask us a question about energy or home services, from new boilers to broadband, you'll always speak to our customer service team, based right here in the UK. It's just one of many reasons why we're proud to make a difference.
Do you remember the hassle vacuuming used to be before the Dyson digital motor? The vacuum that gives you the suction power of an upright, without the hassle of a cord.
There are more than 50 roles in the RAF. Find yours as a full-time regular or a spare-time reservist. Search RAF recruitment now.
Drip it. Drizzle it. Dash it. Baste it. Splish it. Splash it. Shake it. Dip it. Squiggle it. Jiggle it. Fry it. Roast it. Mash it. Naturally brewed for over 300 years. Cook it up with Kikkoman soy sauce. And try our teriyaki sauce.
From the moment we're born, we're seekers. Sneaky peekers. Window shoppers. Discoverers. Spotters. Dreamers. We all search in different ways. That's why we're creating new ways to help you find your perfect car.
Family photo. Everyone ready?
Is it going to go off now?
Everyone ready?
The new series of Stella starts Friday at 9 on Sky 1 HD.
Don't miss our ringside special with boxing legend Manny Pacquiao. It's on demand now.
Three hours, 17 minutes left in the transfer window. Look who I've spotted. Jim White, who'll be on air in around about 20 minutes from time. And Jim, you've got the famous phone in your hand. It's going to be busy again tonight, is it?
It is, Julian. Just while we're waiting to come back on air there, took a couple of calls. Good news there on Aaron Lennon. And we've been talking about Hull, we've been talking about Stoke. We're hearing Aaron Lennon for Everton. That's what we're hearing at the moment. That just hot off the press. Dele Alli, of course, what a deal for that boy. 18 years of age, and you broke the story a short time ago. I heard you guys talking about it. We understand he's in the final throes of the medical there at Tottenham. It is all happening, and Cuadrado eventually joining Chelsea. There's a lot in the mix. There's a lot behind the scenes tonight, Julian, and we are gathering information all the time.
We absolutely are. So, Jim, with you very shortly. Jim, thanks for now. I'll let you carry on with your prep. It was a bit of a slow burner, if we're honest. It was a bit quiet this afternoon, but now there is the feeling, as Jim's saying, that momentum is building up. The deals are starting to happen. We saw Schürrle leave earlier to Wolfsburg from Chelsea. That then opened the door for Chelsea to complete their move for Juan Cuadrado, as Jim was saying. So Jim is getting ready. Alongside him this evening, Hayley McQueen will be here shortly, and also Kate Abdo will be in the house. How are you, Kate?
I'm good, thank you, Jim.
All ready?
Yes, already.
Exciting stuff. So around 15 minutes to go till Kate, Jim and Hayley will be with you. Plenty still to happen before that 11 p.m. deadline.
Fantastic. Right, let's get to Manchester United now, and James Cooper has an update for us on the future of Darren Fletcher. What can you tell us, James?
Well, we had a major twist and an incoming, of course, in August with Radamel Falcao rolling through the gates here at the Aon training complex. We've just seen Darren Fletcher leave the Aon training complex for the third time today, and it could possibly be the last time as a Manchester United player. I'm led to believe he's on his way for talks with West Bromwich Albion about a move from Manchester United to the Hawthorns. We know that a similar deal fell through with West Ham late last week. Louis van Gaal expecting his third captain, his vice captain, if you like, to leave the club. He arrived here this morning, trained with the first team squad this afternoon, but we've just seen him leave along with his representative in a car headed down the M6 to West Brom. So I guess we have a little bit of a chase of time. We know that there's a will to do the deal. We know that Manchester United won't stand in their way. But of course, this is the most experienced, current serving Manchester United player. It could be he's played for Manchester United for the final time, and he could be on his way to West Brom. I'm told he's there for talks. He'll have to have a medical. It's a bit of a race against time, but at least the traffic will have died down in and around Manchester and, of course, on the M6. But Darren Fletcher's on his way to the Midlands.
That's right, that is one positive. Update us if you get any more information. Thanks very much for that, James. Right, big news coming out of Scotland too tonight, involving Celtic. Charles Patterson, what is the breaking news for us?
Well, Kirsty, we've been telling you all afternoon about Celtic's pursuit of Stuart Armstrong. I can tell you that Dundee United have accepted an offer from Celtic for the midfielder. Now, that offer is believed to be around £1.6 million, plus sell-on clauses and other add-ons there. The personal have all been sorted out as far as I understand. It's a 3.5-year deal that's being proposed. The player is undergoing his medical right now, and it looks like that this deal will be completed tonight. So Celtic, it looks like they have got their man. Their bid for Stuart Armstrong has been accepted. Remember, there's a bid still on the table for Gary Mackay-Steven as well, who's already signed a pre-contract with Celtic. Celtic want him now. Could that happen tonight? And I can also tell you, as a knock-on to this, Dundee United are now in for the Hibernian midfielder, Scott Allen. Watch the space on that one. But Stuart Armstrong looks like he's heading to Celtic.
OK, thanks very much indeed, Charles. Right. So we understand Tottenham are in advanced talks with MK Dons to sign Dele Alli. Let's get the very latest, shall we? Paul Gilmore is at the Tottenham training ground for us. Paul, what can you tell us?
Yes, good evening. Dele Alli is in the final part of his medical, and that's with as we get it this evening on Sky Sports News HQ.
I could bring you some news that will please Matt Le Tissier here in the studio. We were talking about this potential move for Southampton a short time ago, and in the last few seconds the club have now confirmed they have completed the signing of Filip Juricic. They don't... Nodding, Mr. Le Tissier.
Nodding.
No word yet. I'm just trying to find out whether it is the loan we're expecting with a view to a permanent. They just call it a move at the moment. They first of all apologise for keeping their fans waiting on this one, but then say official. We are delighted to announce that Saints FC have completed that deadline day move for Filip Juricic from Benfica, currently on loan in Germany at Mainz, but it seems the deal has been done now to leave Mainz and come to Southampton. And Matt, you're nodding, you're pretty happy with that?
Yeah, I think anything that gives the squad a little bit of a boost at this time of year is good, especially after the disappointment of yesterday's result.
So Matt Le Tissier, happy with that signing for... I wonder if we look down at the bottom of the table and at the battle to stay in the Premier League field, because we're focused on teams like Liverpool, Tottenham and maybe the quiet windows they've had. What about teams down at the bottom? Are you satisfied that they've all done enough to stay in the division with the opportunity they had this month?
Only they will know, but you'd expect this. I was saying to you about all the teams at the top.
because they're all in a decent vein of form. So there's not a lot going on with them with any transfers, not getting pushed into the deals. The teams down at the bottom, desperate to get in a few signings, the likes of Leicester, been conceding goals of late. Robert Huth going in there, which I think is a very good sign, and probably needed to move on from Stoke City. Wasn't getting his game, needs some game time. So that's happened, and I would imagine the others are all ducking and diving, trying to get players in. They need, with them being down there, they do need something different to help out, whether it's in defence, whether it's in the midfield or up front, just trying to get more bodies in to show the fans that they are trying to rectify things.
The difficulty is that when you are in that position, trying to tempt players to go to your club, especially on permanent deals, because if they think that there's a chance of you going down, it's very difficult to persuade them. That's why I think you see sometimes those clubs down the bottom, a lot of them are loan deals just at the end of the season, try and see them through and see if they can do a deal at the end of the season.
Just going back to what James Cooper was talking about as well, regards the future of Darren Fletcher and a possible move, if he can get it over the line, to West Brom.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
It was a strange one. I thought it would be a decent fit to West Ham. And to most clubs, I would think it'd be a good fit. The lad is a really nice fella. He's had such a difficult time with his illness and things. And to come back and try and resurrect his career, I think is absolutely wonderful for him that he's come through it. On a footballing side, he is somebody that you would have in your, particularly anywhere near the bottom there, you would have him in there. And I think he would be a fantastic signing for West Brom. West Ham were in a different position, but for West Brom, I think it would be a great fit. He's a great player. He's a good sort you could imagine in the dressing room. You're seeing what Louis van Gaal has been talking about him. And you'd think, I've met the guy and I thought, what a lovely guy you are. And it does, when you have perceptions of players, and he always seems a good sort. But when it is, you want him to do well. And this is one young man, and I thought, you need football. I can't see you getting into this side at Manchester United at present. And I thought, when there was talk about him staying, I thought, well, is Michael Carrick, maybe his injury's going to take a little bit longer. That's why they're looking to maybe keep him on a little bit. But he needs to play, and West Brom would be a fantastic fit.
He needs to play. Do Manchester United would need a centre-back in this window, Matt?
Do they need a centre-back? I think, actually, recently they've looked a little bit better defensively, to be honest with you. I don't think there's too many teams now in the Premier League that have got better defensive records than Manchester United. So from that point of view, Louis van Gaal is probably looking at it and thinking, we're doing OK. But it's difficult to rest on your laurels. I think everybody realises that at some point Manchester United will buy a world-class centre-back. If it's not going to come in January, it will come at the end of the season.
I think that's what he's done. Everybody knows, and he will know that they need a top-quality centre-back. And you don't need to be a rocket scientist to see that. Yes, it is. But I think, again, coming back to it, how things have gone quite well for them. They still need one, but I think he's thinking to himself, I can get through to the summer. There's nobody who fits that criteria, who is available, whether it's in this country or whether it's abroad, who fits in, who's available. I'll have to wait till the end of the season.
But, I mean, who knows what can happen in the next few months. Players get injured. We saw at Arsenal that they had the crisis they had mid-season. Is this a bit of a gamble to go through to the end of the season without reinforcing?
A small one, I would have thought. But I think it's one he's obviously prepared to take. I'm not sure he thinks he can win the Premier League title, but I think with the squad that he's got, he thinks that he can get in the Champions League. And I think at this stage of the season, I think that's the thing that United are aiming for.
I think it's a little bit of a gamble. Although I've just said that, I'm looking, and this is Manchester United, who are extremely wealthy. There's probably signings out there what they could actually go for, but it will cost them an awful lot of money for a centre-back. And it could get further down when they start leaking goals again, because the goalkeeper's been absolutely outstanding. But they've always looked a little bit dodgy at the back. They've chopped and changed, back three, back four. Nobody ever seems to fit the bill. And I think if they could have done one, they would have done.
And just as we head to the end of this hour, I mean, Matt, for you, who's done the shrewdest business, would you say, in this transfer window?
I don't think there's been that much business done. So nobody's really been... I think that's the thing. Unless we see in the next couple of hours something that's really pulled out the bag, there's been little bits and pieces here and there. Nothing has really stood out for me as a wow signing so far. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for the next few hours.
Absolutely. I am looking. I think the likes of, we were talking about Fletcher before, Wilfried Zaha, to me, needs to play. He wasn't going to get it at Manchester United. It's when you think things fit, he's happier down there. I think he needs to be a bit more consistent. But I think that, for them to make that secure and long-term, and I know it's a 5.5-year deal or something, I think that has been a good bit of business.
OK.
Right, 3 hours, 5 minutes to go until the transfer window closes. Let's just get an update for you from the Football League. What comings and goings there with Aidan McGee?
Yes, a busy night in the Championship. Sky sources understand Norwich striker Carl Lafferty is in talks with Turkish First Division side Kayseri Rizespor ahead of a medical in London. Elsewhere, Middlesbrough's Luke Williams has joined Coventry on loan until the end of the season. OK, live now to Kaveh Solokul at St Mary's, where news has, of course, broken of that player arriving. Kaveh, what can you tell us?
Yes, it's the news we've been telling you about all day. That player is Filip Juricic, who is signed on loan from Benfica for the rest of the season. I believe there'll be a clause in that contract which makes Southampton have an option to make that deal permanent in the summer. There have been reports in Portugal that that deal would cost them about £9 million in the summer. Now, Juricic is a very exciting young player who burst on the scene a couple of years ago. He joined Benfica for about £4.5 million, I think. Hasn't really made the grade there. He was loaned out to Mainz in Germany, played 11 times for them this season, and now Southampton have decided to step in and take him on loan. A couple of years ago he was very highly rated. I don't think he's quite developed the way he would have wanted to, but he's a very versatile player, can play behind the front man in any of those attacking positions and also as an attacking midfield player. So hopefully he will thrive working under Ronald Koeman. Ronald Koeman, of course, has an excellent record of working with young promising players. So just to recap, it has been confirmed that Southampton have signed Filip Juricic on loan from Benfica for the rest of the season.
OK, Kaveh, thanks very much. Let's recap on a couple of the bubbling stories. Manchester United's Darren Fletcher, possible move to West Brom. We've told you about Tottenham in advance talks with MK Dons to sign Dele Alli. We'll keep you up to date with that one. But the big deals?
Yeah, Juan Cuadrado is a Chelsea player. Andre Schürrle is a Wolfsburg player. We're going to leave you here. Thanks to Matt, to Phil. I'm going to get some teeth in.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.
I'm going to go home and watch it on the sofa, I think.
Let's do that.
We're going to let Jim, Kate and Hayley come in and take over. Have a good evening, guys.
Your time is up. Your time is up.
Come on.
Strength, size, power. These are the things a man needs to play rugby. And you have none of these, Williams, they said. But they were wrong. It was the size of his heart, the power of his ambition, the strength of his character.
With a commitment of as little as 19 days a year in the Army Reserve, there's more than one way to be the best. Find out more. Search Army Reserve.
Itchy, flaky scalp? T-Gel Anti-Dandruff Shampoo helps eliminate dandruff starting after just one use. T-Gel Anti-Dandruff Shampoo from Neutrogena.
Drip it. Drizzle it. Dash it. Baste it. Splish it. Splash it. Shake it. Dip it. Squiggle it. Jiggle it. Fry it. Roast it. Mash it. Naturally brewed for over 300 years. Cook it up with Kikkoman soy sauce. And try our teriyaki sauce.
Wherever your perfect property may be, if you're in the market, you'll find it at onthemarket.com. Onthemarket.com is the new simple way to search hundreds of thousands of properties to buy or rent from agents who are experts in their local area. More and more leading agents are moving all their properties from other sites to onthemarket.com and are advertising them exclusively with us first. So to see properties you won't find anywhere else, make sure you search onthemarket.com. Set up a property alert today.
Available to buy and keep in Sky Store now.
Day one, Greenie. What is this place?
The maze. When those doors open, the runners look for a way out. And no one has ever survived a night in the maze.
We get out now, or we die trying. You don't get it. We're already dead.
Buy and keep The Maze Runner now, and you'll get it straight to your TV and the DVD set direct to your home. The Maze Runner. Available to buy and keep on early release in Sky Store now.
You're watching Sky Sports News HQ, your home of sports news.
Sure, sponsor Sky Sports News HQ, the only place to be on transfer deadline day. Time well and truly running out for clubs to force deals through. Just 3 hours to go now until that 11 p.m. cut-off.
Yeah, that's right. We can tell you, though, plenty of deals that are on the cusp of going through. We've got every single angle covered right here.
Yeah, that's right, Jim and Kate. We have our team of reporters up and down the country bringing you every twist, every turn and every late development. Now, if you two thought you were going to be busy, if you thought Jim's phone was going to be busy, well, this man, Brian Swanson...
Yakubu joins Reading and Accrington sign a former Real Madrid midfielder.
Yeah, that's right. We've got expert opinion on all the deals as well. We're glad to say as well we've been joined this evening by Phil Thompson and Matt Letizia. Welcome to you guys. And the big names really have just kept on coming throughout the course of the day.
Just sign on the dotted line there, buddy. Keep Harry happy. I know he's a bit frustrated.
Yes. He's watching this.
QPR fans, you've seen it here first.
You've made their year.
Everything seems to be very clinical.
That's what you want, someone who knows the league.
West Brom look like they're showing interest, and I'm sure there will be other various clubs. I think he needs to probably sit back a little bit because this is going to be a vital decision in his career right now.
Right. He's a young Serbian attacking midfield player, also an attacker who can play behind the main striker all across the front lines. He was highly thought of a couple of years ago, but his career has gone backwards a bit at Benfica. A couple of years ago, he was mentioned in the same breath as midfielders like Christian Eriksen and also Kevin Strootman. That's how highly rated he is. Now, if his loan goes well here, I believe there is an option to make it a permanent transfer next summer for about £9 million. Now, Djuricic has signed on the dotted line, and the latest I'm hearing is that Southampton are trying to sign another player in a multi-million-pound deal before the window closes.
Brom at the weekend, but as for a transfer that is close to being completed, and that man at the centre of it is Dele Alli, the MK Dons midfielder, and we think that'll be a £5 million deal. He'll be loaned immediately back to MK Dons for the remainder of the season. So what are Tottenham getting? Well, he's a midfielder who has scored 12 goals for MK Dons this season. That is more league goals for midfield than any other player in English football's top 4 tiers. As for Aaron Lennon, well, Sky Sources telling us down to 2 clubs interested in him. One of those clubs, Stoke, the other an unnamed club. And if you missed the news earlier, Kevin Wimmer, an Austrian under-21 centre-back. Well, I understand Spurs made inquiries to FC Cologne for him, but they've been told flatly he's not for sale. That's Kevin Wimmer. And also, it's all gone quiet at the moment on Emmanuel Adebayor. No fresh update. The club are willing to let him go. West Ham and Queen's Park Rangers reportedly interested. All quiet on that front at the moment, as it is with Etienne Capoue, but as well as Jonas Kabul or Vlad Kerekes. One of those 2 centre-backs, Kabul or Kerekes, could yet leave. As things stand, Kabul looks the favourite, but of course things can change between now and the end of the window. We'll keep you updated right here.
Big news coming out of Manchester United regarding the futures of Wilfried Zaha and Darren Fletcher. We can head to Manchester now, and James Cooper can bring us up to date with what's going on. James.
Hi, Hayley. I tell you what, it's freezing here at the Aon training complex, but things hotting up very nicely when it comes to outgoings for Manchester United. In the past half hour, we've seen Darren Fletcher leave the training ground for the third time today. I'm led to believe he's on his way to West Brom. He'll have to be very quick, but I guess the roads will be a little bit freer than they would be maybe earlier this afternoon. But he's got to have talks there and a medical ahead of perhaps a proposed move to West Bromwich Albion and ending his association with Manchester United, which adds up to almost 20 years, of course, as a player here. He's gone through an awful lot as both a youngster and a first-team player here, but it could be that he's played his final game for Manchester United, and that move might well be on to West Brom. Certainly an awful lot of goodwill from Manchester United to him, their most experienced, current, longest-serving player. Now, Wilfried Zaha, I think... moment. He said he's glad to be back home. When he says home, he means Crystal Palace. We think there'll be a long-term deal announced this evening. He's joined Crystal Palace as a permanent player. I think Manchester United will take something of a hit in terms of wages and in terms of the transfer fee, but I think there'll also be some appearances and all sorts of things into that deal. So if Wilfried Zaha is a success story for Crystal Palace, he might repay some of that back to Manchester United. And elsewhere, we're waiting for confirmation from Brazil that Anderson's returned home. I think that one should go through tonight. Again, a lot of goodwill there, 8 years with Manchester United, but given a free transfer and expected to sign for Internacional. And I know there's an awful lot of speculation about the future of Anders Lindegaard. He was meant to be in the EDS team tonight, I'm led to believe, the Elite Development Squad team, but I'm also led to believe that suggestions of a loan move away from Manchester United at the moment are a little bit premature.
James Cooper, thank you very much indeed. A lot of car movement there in the gloom up in Manchester. Only cars that people like Matt Letizia and Phil Thompson could afford to drive, let me tell you. Phil Thompson, what about Wilfried Zaha? You surprised it hasn't worked out for him at Manchester United?
Yeah, a little bit. Because you always thought he was so sought after by everybody. Had a fantastic time with for Crystal Palace. He was exciting. He could score goals. He had the wonderful tricks that you could see. And you think to yourself, he could develop, not in the Ronaldo sphere of things, but you thought this lad's got something exciting about him. And Manchester United, as we know over the years, have liked this sort of player. But it just didn't work. You were thinking, well, what's going on? Is something behind the scenes? Wasn't getting enough game time. And to me, that says attitude on the training grounds, or maybe not even doing it on the training ground. To me, he never really got the chance, but something must have been going on.
Yeah, I thought the lack of opportunities that he had was a bit of a telltale sign, because we saw what he could do at Crystal Palace. We saw how brilliant he was in that championship season when they got promoted. And I think there must be something behind the scenes which just says he's not quite Manchester United.
Having said that, Matt, will he now succeed at Palace? Because the Palace fans love this boy.
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously that's a big deal for a player. If you're loved by the fans, he feels at home in that environment, and that will help him out massively, I think. And if you have a manager who believes in you, makes a big difference to you.
I think the other thing is it's his final ball, which you've seen with Zaha. He's great, and I just said, great tricks, goes past people, got great pace, and could score goals. But then the other thing is, what are you looking for from somebody like that? You're looking for him to get round the back, cut balls back, chip balls in, have more assists. And I think that could be developed in his game. I think it's a great signing. I think he needed to move on, and I think Crystal Palace could get the benefits.
OK, guys, for the moment, thank you. Thierry Henry joined us earlier, and he felt Zaha's move to Manchester United came too soon in his career, and moving back to Selhurst Park will benefit his career.
To be fair to Zaha, if they had a good season and he had to walk into a team that was about to be champion and had a good season, it's easier to incorporate that team. But the way it was last year and the way also he had a few games when it didn't work out for him, it was always going to be difficult. That's what I thought for him.
All right, then let's get to Chelsea, shall we? After the weeks of speculation that we've seen, they have tonight announced finally, haven't they? They have signed him, Juan Cuadrado from Fiorentina. It is all confirmed. The 26-year-old has joined now on a 4.5-year contract. Now, we believe that the fee is £26.1 million. That's how much his buyout clause was, isn't it?
An absolute snip. We can now hear from the man himself. Juan Cuadrado has been speaking to Chelsea TV. Here he is.
First of all, I'm very happy and thankful for this opportunity I've been given. This is a great club, and honestly, it's like a dream to join the Chelsea family and to know that the manager believes in me. I'm happy. The best part about this dream is that I'm going to be part of such a big club. For me, that's a huge motivation to perform well. I'm a quick and positive player, and I hope to show that on the field of play and help all of my teammates. It's really going to be brilliant to work with one of the best coaches anywhere in the world. I'm very proud to be playing for him, and I think he's going to help me grow into a better player. We are a big club, so winning important things. Playing for this team, of course, the league championship is, I think, the most important thing. As for everything else, Chelsea have big players, so we want to win big things. Best wishes to all of the Chelsea fans. I hope to perform for them in the best possible way, and I hope we can achieve a lot of things together.
So he's signed, he's done a television interview, he's also taken to his Instagram account as well and put up this lovely picture. You saw him just chatting in front of that board. Well, here he is, proudly stood with his new Chelsea shirt, sporting the blue. This is his account as well for all you Chelsea fans wanting to follow at Cuadrado11. Thank you, God, for making my dream come true. I am happy. Come on, you Blues. He looks very happy indeed. And what about Twitter? Deadline day, of course, trending. Jim White trending. Pretty sure Kay Abdo will be trending as well. But right now, it is Cuadrado. And one of his teammates, who has also been following the developments on Twitter, Oscar, who's put on his Twitter, welcome to the biggest club in the world, Cuadrado.
Well, the Cuadrado deal only came after it was confirmed that André Schürrle had left Chelsea to go to the Bundesliga side Wolfsburg. The 24-year-old signed a 4-year contract and returns once again now to the Bundesliga, where he used to play with both Mainz and Bayer Leverkusen. Now, we'll have more for you on the fee in just a moment. Schürrle follows Kevin De Bruyne, who left Chelsea for Wolfsburg. Yes, this time last year that was. Now then, confirmation of the Schürrle deal actually came after the window had closed in Germany, and this was how our colleagues at Sky Deutschland marked the closing of the window at 6 p.m. That is 5 o'clock UK time.
Da ist der Countdown. 3, 2, 1. Das war's. Keine Transfers mehr.
There you go. A little bit less drama. OK, well, just over 40 minutes after the window closed, Wolfsburg tweeted this from their official account, confirming the Schürrle signing. Translated, it said, official, world champion André Schürrle has joined Wolfsburg. No information on how much the fee was, but Sky Deutschland's David Marquardt was in our studio earlier on, and he was able to provide a bit of information on that.
As it is very often, there was no number in it. But I've been talking to my colleague who's on site, Wolfsburg, the whole day, and he's been in contact with the agent of André Schürrle, and he said we're talking about 32 million euro fee, which would be 24.1 million pound. Wolfsburg is really building up a squad to attack Bayern Munich. I mean, we're all sure Bayern Munich will be on top for the next years, no doubt. But Wolfsburg beat Munich last Friday 4-1 without André Schürrle. So they're really building up to become second force in Bundesliga. And with signing André Schürrle, a World Cup winner, that would be a sign towards Bayern Munich. Watch out, we're coming.
Watch out, we're here at the social. Plenty of Chelsea players have been tweeting as well. There's an Instagram here from Cesc Fabregas, posting a lovely picture as well, saying good luck on your new adventure, my friend. We will miss you as well. And also, it reads from Philip Luis. Another great picture as well. It was an honour to play with you. He says good luck. And again, another player who says he will miss him. And look at this, well, the Bundesliga club have put on their Instagram as well, thankfully in English for me. Welcome back to the Bundesliga. André Schürrle at VfL Wolfsburg confirm the World Cup winner has signed.
Well, there we go. I mean, that's the thing. Out goes a World Cup winner. I mean, Phil, are you surprised it didn't work out for Schürrle?
Yes, I am. Great pace. Always got a goal in him, but more of an impact player for me, Jim. Didn't look like when he started he ever done enough, and he was consistent enough throughout the 90 minutes to say I'm a Chelsea player. Again, we spoke about it, and we'll come to Cuadrado. Has he got enough to oust any of these three attacking players, plus the fourth one being Costa? I don't know whether he's got enough, but yes, I was surprised because I thought it would work out for him. The longer the season went, I was just thinking, he's not doing enough. And it's no surprise to me, but it's a profit for Chelsea on it all. I believe he's given up one bench to go to another bench in Wolfsburg because they won 4-1 against Bayern Munich last weekend. How's he going to get into that team?
It is difficult for him, though. It was difficult. You know, you've got Hazard and Oscar and Willian, been in decent form. So difficult to shift them from the team. And he was getting chances, limited opportunities, and it was difficult without having a massive long run in the team to actually find his best form. I think I see him score a hat-trick at Fulham. I think it was probably his best performance in a Chelsea shirt, but it didn't come often enough, unfortunately.
Did you ever think he kept the ball as much as those three in there, Hazard,
no, he was
Oscar and Willian?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, but he didn't seem to fit in to how they actually played. And that's why I always thought he was the odd one out of those three all the time.
We believe he got 24 million for him, Chelsea. Are you surprised by how much they managed to squeeze out of Wolfsburg for him?
Jose Mourinho is an expert at getting the best possible price for one of his players because they've made a hefty profit on him. And when you look at it, has he come out of Chelsea with a better reputation than he went into? I don't think he did. Yet he still managed to return a massive profit.
Well,
just like he did with David
whether
Luiz.
it's Jose, whether he's doing it or the chairman, chief execs who's doing the deals, I think it's a good move. Then they got Juan Mata, and then he got David Luiz, and he made big profits on these players who you'd always thought weren't actually fitting in at the club. So they got reserve team who were out of the team, they sold them for big profits.
Huge.
In Germany, they're seeing it as a big opportunity for him as somebody who now goes on to kind of almost bigger and better things because they think Wolfsburg are really going to challenge Bayern Munich. Do you think it's viewed very, very differently over here? It's more of a kind of a failing and leaving after not having managed to make his stamp on the team?
I'm pleased for the lad because at least it says he wants to play and he wasn't getting his game. And he said, yes, Chelsea were getting a good fee for him, but he wants to... He's a world champion. He should be wanting to play and play regular. And yes, Borussia Dortmund have dropped away in the Bundesliga and Wolfsburg are a team that's coming up and they're showing big things. They've thrown big money at him. They trust in him and I think it gives them a bigger clout.
Phil, Matt, I just want to interrupt just for a second. We're just hearing that Stoke have just confirmed to us here that Aaron Lennon has opted to go to Everton and not Stoke. So he turned down Hull, he said no to Stoke, and now Aaron Lennon, guys, off to Everton. What do you think, Phil?
Oh, I think it's a good sign, just before the weekend as well, the derby game. No, it is. It's a good sign, and he needed to get away. Another player who needed to get away. Always great pace. Always you're wondering, has he got the delivery? Has got the assists in him which have not helped him? He needed to get away. He's joined Everton, but then it starts. Who is maybe moving out of Everton in the last couple of hours.
Are you a fan, Matt?
I've been a fan of Aaron Lennon down the years, yeah. I thought early on in his career, I thought he struggled a little bit with his final delivery. I think that improved a little bit. The one thing that was always a question mark against him, for somebody with that much pace and got himself into such good areas, never scored goals on a regular basis. And that was the kind of one thing about Aaron Lennon you wanted him to be better at.
He wasn't getting his game there either, was he? He needed to move.
He needed to move.
Yeah.
OK. So now we know Aaron Lennon tonight to Everton. More on that as we get it. Here's Brian Swanson.
Yeah, Jim, and one player to watch tonight is Carlton Cole. It has been a busy day for him. He is at West Brom's training ground tonight over a proposed move from West Ham. Stay with us. The latest pictures of Cole at the training ground coming up.
All right, next up, we've got some welcome news for Tottenham fans.
Sure sponsors this programme. Do more with Sure.
To be stricken by tuberculosis on the eve of playing rugby for your country would break most people. But not Bill McLaren. He started commentating in the hospital ping pong to make the others smile, and found a way back to the game he loved.
He's like a runaway buffalo, isn't he? And the magician couldn't have done it any better. Lawson must score for Scotland. What a try! We haven't had scenes like this at Murrayfield since 1925. As slippery as a baggie of a border burn is Brian Redpath there.
At Temper, we believe whatever your shape or size, whether you're young or old, your mattress should conform to your body, not the other way around. That's why we offer a collection of mattresses and pillows that give you personalised support. Temper, So comfortable, all you'll feel is weightless.
From the moment we're born, we're seekers. Sneaky peekers. Window shoppers. Discoverers. Spotters. Dreamers. We all search in different ways. That's why we're creating new ways to help you find your perfect car.
Said my first word at 1. United mad by 7. Bored at 11. I left school at 16. 18, I worked nights in the castle, but then I stopped pulling pints and started pushing myself. I did things I never dreamed I would, and overcame things I never thought I could. The elements, the distance, the fears, doubts, and all 7 continents. Sure, I was born in Carlisle. Royal Navy. Start your journey. Search Made in the Royal Navy.
What could have done this?
Apparently, the things we were hired to kill. Gear up. We're going in. These things think they're at the top of the food chain, but they haven't met us. Evolve. Pre-order now for Xbox One.
Jacobs Creek. We're made by here. This valley with all its charms and challenges. Made by the sun that makes or breaks our hearts. By early starts, late-night obsessions, and wild ideas. Made by over 160 years of doing what we love. Birthed from the land. Shaped by the people. Inspired by the continent. Made by Australia. Jacobs Creek, made true.
It's around about now, butterflies start to flutter, the nerves begin to kick in.
Just get a picture.
This is going to be blood, fire, and brimstone. The gladiators will enter the arena.
It should be a classic. Here we go.
All right, Kate, it's beginning to rumble, we can tell you that. Where are we? Coming up to 25 past 8. We're hearing in the last 2 or 3 minutes, it's virtually there. It is there. We're hearing that Aaron Lennon has opted to join Everton, and it's an option with a view to buy. That's the kind of deal it is. Everton will have a view to buy him probably at the end of the season. But, of course, we do know that Hull were in. We do know that Stoke were in. And Stoke said to us a short time ago, the boy has chosen to go to Everton. So there we are. And a top official at the club at Everton told me a moment ago, Everton always pull one out the hat. Well, that is out the hat tonight. We didn't expect that to come along. And Aaron Lennon set to join Roberto Martinez at Goodison. More on this as we get it.
Yeah, absolutely. As Jim mentioned there, Hull were one of those clubs that were also said to be interested in signing Lennon. So let's get the latest on their deadline day deals. Tim Thornton can bring us the latest.
Yeah, Kate, he had 2 targets, did Steve Bruce. Aaron Lennon was one of them. Darmin Doy was the other, the Senegal striker. Now, I've just come off the phone to Steve Bruce in Paris in the last 5 minutes, and this is what he's had to say. He says that deal for Ndoye is still up in the air. Talks are continuing, but this one could go right down to the wire. He's also told me that it's the only deal that Hull City are working on at the moment. There could be a player on the move out as well. Tom Ince is on his way to Derby County ahead of a loan move. But just over 2.5 hours until the window closes. So a race against the clock to get the Ndoye deal done.
Thank you very much indeed. Now, these pictures just into us here at Sky Sports News. And this is Carlton Cole in the gloom of the evening arriving at West Brom. Now, of course, we understand that West Ham at the moment have got something of an injury crisis going on. But nonetheless, this is Carlton Cole arriving at West Brom a short time ago. And is he going to join Tony Pulis there? We'll find out very shortly.
Turning into a very busy evening in the Football League. Brentford have signed defender Jack O'Connell from Blackburn on a 3.5-year deal. Sky sources understand the fee is in the region of £200,000. Staying with Blackburn, and they've confirmed that striker Jordan Slew has left the club by mutual consent. Meanwhile, Huddersfield have completed the signing of Ishmael Miller from Blackpool on a short-term deal until the end of the season. The club do also have the option to extend his contract in the summer. And down in London, Millwall have signed goalkeeper Jordan Archer from Tottenham on loan until the end of the season. Stay with us for all the latest deals from the Football League.
All right, let's quickly get back to the Premier League. And Arsenal has, of course, made big signings on deadline day in the past. Let's go live now to Geraint Hughes at the Emirates. What are they up to today, Geraint?
Well, we're not having as much fun as we've had in previous years, where we've had Danny Welbeck signing extraordinary late on deadline day last year, and, of course, Mesut Ozil. I was just speaking to the club over the last hour or so, and I think Arsene Wenger very satisfied with the work that he's done so far in the window, bringing 2 players in. Obviously, most recently Gabriel from Villarreal. It's looking very unlikely now that Arsenal are going to do any business in the remaining hours. Of course, Wenger told us on Sky Sports News HQ on Friday that if someone was standing outside his door on deadline door, he would open it, he would look, and of course he may think about it. But with the hours and minutes ebbing away towards 11 o'clock, it is looking very much like the Arsenal have done their business for this window.
11 o'clock in England, 12 o'clock in Scotland. Let's head there now and find out from Charles Patterson what has been going on, and particularly with Celtic, Charles.
Yeah, it's going to be a late night here in Glasgow. Celtic are going to sign, it looks like, Stuart Armstrong and Gary Mackay-Steven from Dundee United tonight. Mackay-Steven's already signed a pre-contract agreement. We understand it has been agreed to bring him here now. He's undergoing a medical at the moment, as is Stuart Armstrong. Finally, after much back and forth, toing and froing, bids rejected, Celtic have had a bid accepted in the region of £1.6 million, plus add-ons as well, and he is going to join on a 3.5-year contract. We expect to see him tonight at some point as well. I can tell you that Celtic are going to have a good night. It looks like Rangers are also making deals happen, and it looks very much like they're going to confirm tonight the signings of 5 players on loan from Newcastle. Haris Vukic, Shane Ferguson, Kevin Mbambu, Gael Bergera-Mana and Remy Street. All those players poised to join Rangers on loan from Newcastle United. It'll be very interesting to see how they fit into the setup at Ibrox. And I can tell you one other piece of news which has come out of Scotland in the last few minutes is that Norwich City have had a bid for Hamilton Academical striker Tony Andrew accepted. We understand that that bid is in the excess of £1 million. Tony Andrew is having a medical, and it looks like he's going to join his former manager at Hamilton, who's now the boss, of course, at Norwich City, Alex Neil, down at Norwich at Carrow Road. But it looks like Celtic are going to get their man Stuart Armstrong tonight, and Gary Mackay-Steven.
Charles, thanks very much indeed. We understand that Queen's Park Rangers, Harry, working alongside Les Ferdinand tonight. As far as I hear, Tony Fernandes, the chairman, of course, he is away on business at the moment. Player recruitment, fairly and squarely on the desk tonight of Les Ferdinand. So, Harry, working alongside Les Ferdinand down the road at the training ground, not far from here in West London, trying to bring in players tonight for QPR. We shall hear from Harry, we shall hear from Les Ferdinand as to how they are progressing there. What about Stoke? Because in the last few moments, we heard Matt Letizia and Phil Thompson tell us about what Aaron Lennon may or may not do for Everton, because we hear that Aaron Lennon is heading now to Everton. And Ben Ransom at Stoke will tell us just how Stoke feel about that, because until a few moments ago, Ben, Stoke were very much in the mix to get a hold of Aaron Lennon tonight, but now he's heading to Goodison.
Yeah, confirmation, Jim, of a move between 2 Premier League clubs tonight. I'm afraid to say, Stoke City fans, it's not an arrival here, because the club have told me in the last couple of minutes that Aaron Lennon has opted to join Everton instead. I've just had a chat with the chief executive here at Tony Scholes, who tells me that the player himself thought he'd get more playing time at Everton, which is why he opted to go there. Guaranteed first-team football. Remember, he's not played for Tottenham since December. He's been out of favour under Mauricio Pochettino. There was a bit of a scrap between a few Premier League clubs to sign him today. We thought Hull City might be in pole position over the weekend. Then Leicester City emerged emerged as contenders. Stoke City here confirmed their interest to me earlier this afternoon. They were in talks right up until Everton joined the race. Everton then moved ahead, and confirmation here from Stoke that I'm afraid to say, Stoke fans, that Everton have won the race to sign Aaron Lennon. It means that Stoke's business for the window appears to be done. It's going to be shut up shop here at the training ground. Just seen those who were working on the deals all disappear out of the gates to my right. It means that Robert Huth leaving for Leicester City, and the arrival of Philip Volscheid on loan appears to be the business of the day here.
That's right, we just touched on that Robert Huth deal, didn't he, there? Let's have a listen to what Jamie Carragher made of that deal earlier on today.
He's obviously got Premier League experience. He can play centre-back. He's played full-back at times for Stoke. As I heard before with the Shawcross injury, who knows how that'll affect things. But I think for Leicester, that's what you want between now and the end of the season. Premier League experience. They're in a dogfight at the bottom there. It'll be tough for them, but that's what you want, someone who knows the league. You don't want to be maybe going abroad to bring players in and, you know, taking time to get used to the Premier League, because, as I said, there's only 3 or 4 months left and they need to stay up.
And at long last, it had been coming all time, this Chelsea trio, this movement that triggered Cuadrado, Schürrle. Mohamed Salah, it now seems at long last, is bound for Fiorentina. Our Sky colleagues in Italy saying that 80 is now complete. We're still waiting for confirmation from both clubs on this, but at long last, it finally seems to have been done with hours remaining on deadline day.
OK, then, we are live to Everton in the next few moments. As you have just heard, on Sky Sports News HQ, Aaron Lennon looked like he is in there tonight. Sylvain Distin, though, could be on his way out. We'll see. Stay with us.
Sure sponsors this programme. Do more with Sure.
Il est comme un peintre, comme un chanteur, comme un poète, comme un écrivain.
On n'a jamais vu quelqu'un comme lui. Hein.
Il était dévoué, corps et âme.
Humilité, courage et solidaire.
C'est un gentleman, voilà.
Il nous a inspirés à devenir meilleurs.
L'homme parfait.
Il est l'âme de la ville, il est dans nos cœurs.
Bout de route, merci, Sir Johnny.
Win new customers. Present great projects. Reach new audiences. Take your success into your own hands with 1&1 My Website. Quick and easy for all business sectors, domain included. Optimized for Google. Try now. 1&1.co.uk.
If you ever need to ask us a question about energy or home services, from new boilers to broadband, you'll always speak to our customer service team, based right here in the UK. It's just one of many reasons why we're proud to make a difference.
With a commitment of as little as 19 days a year in the Army Reserve, there's more than one way to be the best. Find out more. Search Army Reserve.
And I believe in you.
They say money makes the world go round. At Nationwide, we think it's people. That's why we're here to help you 24/7 on Twitter. Nationwide. On your side.
Now then, I've always, we're heading towards the 11 o'clock deadline. Where are we now, Kate? 25 to 9. We're hearing, of course, Aaron Lennon set to join Everton, option with a view to buy at the end of it all. And, of course, Stoke thought they had him. Hull hoped they had him. But he's heading to Roberto at Everton. Let's find out more from Alan Irwin. Alan, what are Everton saying tonight?
Yeah, it's quite incredible, Jim, isn't it, how quickly things do progress on deadline day as we head towards that 11 o'clock hour. And it has progressed very quickly. Moving on from the Hull and Stoke City involvement with Aaron Lennon, well, that is certainly done and dusted because Everton have won the race to sign Aaron Lennon. Everton won't confirm that the deal has been done yet, but what they will confirm is that he's not yet at Finch Farm. So it's just a question of whereabouts Aaron Lennon is at the moment in terms of his journey to conclude the deal that will see him arrive here at Everton on a loan deal, which will see him through to the end of the season, with Everton having an option to buy. Now, this could be a very good deal for Everton and Aaron Lennon, who, of course, without being disrespectful to him, has fallen by the wayside over the course of the last couple of seasons, hasn't he? He was England international 5 years ago, but at the age of 27, he certainly still does have a future and just needs a real consistent run of appearances. And maybe he feels, and Everton, that he can get that here at Goodison Park. So he may well be in line for a spectacular debut against Liverpool, even in the Merseyside derby that takes place on Saturday, which, of course, you can see live on Sky Sports. We'll keep you right up to date with the progress of Aaron Lennon on his journey here to Everton's training complex. One other story that's developed throughout the day was that of Sylvain Distin. We're still unsure at this stage whether he's going to complete a move to West Ham United. He's out of contract, of course, at the end of the season at Everton, so West Ham may be looking to take him on a short-term deal there. Sylvain Distin left the training ground late here at Finch Farm today, which is not unusual in itself, but he did have a photographer with him. I've subsequently found out that that photographer was one of his French friends who's following him round for a documentary, so we'll try and keep you up to date with our investigations regarding how far Sylvain Distin's potential move to West Ham is. But Aaron Lennon is certainly on his way to Everton.
Right, well, let's stay with news on Merseyside and head to Liverpool. And Vinny with Brendan Rodgers today. Let's head to Vinny to find out anything been happening with you tonight.
Well, there is something going on, Hayley, and it's around a potential departure, really. It's all to do with Ricky Lambert. Now, earlier today, Brendan Rodgers said he didn't want to see anyone leaving from his first-team squad, but there has been interest in Ricky Lambert from Aston Villa. It hasn't reached as far as the two clubs agreeing a fee, but my information is at the moment that Ricky Lambert's got a bit of a decision to make, whether he would welcome a move away to Aston Villa to fight for first-team football, maybe get more regular first-team football, or indeed to stay on Merseyside, fight for his first-team place with Liverpool and stay at a club which was his boyhood club and in an area where he's settled with his family at the moment. So perhaps developments to come on that as the evening wears on. In terms of potential incomings, well, in many respects, we're back to where we were this morning, square one with Danny Ings. It seemed that had gone away with talk of a potential pre-contract agreement with Real Sociedad, but now that that's gone away, then, as I say, back to square one in terms of Liverpool's interest. Now, we know that Liverpool are interested, looking to do a deal that would see Danny Ings join the club in the summer, as they know that he's not going to leave Burnley before the end of this transfer window. Indeed, he's going to see out the season with Burnley now. So we're back to that kind of situation now, that Liverpool potentially could do a deal in that respect, and therefore that deal would not have to be completed before tonight's 11 o'clock deadline. So still potential incomings, but it'd be further down the line for Liverpool, and as I say, that potential departure of Ricky Lambert.
Phil, what do you make of that potential departure for Ricky Lambert? Decision to make, Vinny says. Would you want to see him stay on Merseyside?
I'd like to see him stay. He's a guy that you can trust. He's waited all this time to actually play for the club, and I don't think he would like to have 6 months and then it would go. I would like to think and hope that he would stay to the end. I wouldn't say, oh, he's doing the wrong thing if he went, because he still has that capability to play in the Premier League, do somebody a bit of good. But to me, at Liverpool, he would be the one out of the forwards that we have there, that with Daniel Sturridge coming back, I would like to see staying at the football club.
Matt, what about yourself? I mean, Lambert, do you think there are legs in him to stay at Liverpool? Do you think that's where his future really should lie?
I think if he wants to play football on a regular basis, I think he's got to leave Liverpool.
He's not going to get
regular game time, and at his age, I think he'd want regular football. As much as it will break his heart to leave the football club, if he wants to play regularly at his age, which I think he needs to, I think he's got to go.
Boys, we're just hearing from West Ham at the moment. As we know, and our pictures showed you a short time ago, gloomy as they were, Carlton Cole arriving at West Brom. We hear if he goes to West Brom tonight, West Ham will bring in another striker. And also, Phil, at the moment, what do you think? We understand they're working on bringing in one of two, either Distan or Yunus Kabul.
Well, I think both of them would do them a good job, if it's on loan or on a full-time basis. I think the two of them, their distance seems to have fell out of favour at Everton. John Stones has done extremely well. In the early part of this season, Distan was having a difficult time. Looked as though, and at the age of 36, you start to slow down. Well, you start to slow down a lot earlier if you were me. But Distan is one of those players where you thought his pace always got him out of any danger, and that has just gone a little bit. So he needs to move on. If he wants to continue to play, even at 36, he's got the opportunity at West Ham, I would think. And they've had a lot of injuries there at the back, either Tompkins or Collins, or one of them, Reed. Somebody's always injured. So they do need one of them. And even Kabul seems to have lost his way there. He's still certainly not done the business at Tottenham. Started out, I think, as captain, and has lost that. So I think the two of them need to resurrect their career somewhere.
OK, we're getting information all the time. I'll get it to you very shortly. Let's get more now from Hayley McQueen.
Yeah, we're going to head to the northeast and let's check in with Newcastle and Keith Downey and find out what's happening up there. Lots of news of players going out, anyone coming in, and update us on exactly what has been happening.
Yes, Hayley, it's been departures rather than arrivals that's dominated here at Newcastle today. David Santon, the biggest of those. He's joined Inter Milan on loan until the rest of the season. The first club he played for and the club that Newcastle signed him for. There's an option for Inter to buy him at the end of the season, of course, managed by Roberto Mancini, should they wish, and should the loan deal until the end of the season go well. So that's the highest profile of the players leaving Newcastle on loan. We're also expecting some confirmation later on this evening for a number of loan players from Newcastle heading north to Glasgow Rangers in the Scottish Championship. We've got a list of 6 names in front of me. Haris Vukic, Curtis Good, Kevin Mbabu, Remy Street, Facundo Ferreira and Gail Bigaramana. That's 6 names. We're expecting 4, maybe even 5 of those to join Rangers on loan by the end of play tonight. So it's been players going out rather than coming in, as I say, that's dominated events here at Newcastle.
Now we can bring you an update on Thomas Ince, and Sky sources understand his loan move to Derby is imminent. We'll let you know as soon as that one is completed. In the meantime, Wolves and Roger Johnson have reached an agreement to terminate his contract, and he has left Molineux. The defender has been at Wolves since 2011 when he signed for £7 million from Birmingham. Preston have signed Callum Robinson on loan from Aston Villa for the rest of the season. He'll be the striker's second spell at Preston this season. Mansfield have signed goalkeeper Lenny Pidgley on loan from Newport County, and Port Vale have signed Tommy O'Sullivan from Cardiff on a 1-month loan deal. Stay with us for all the latest deals from the Football League.
Let's head back to the Premier League, though, and a team really in trouble at the bottom, Burnley. We can go to Turf Moor and Peter Stevenson to find out if they have had any luck strengthening. Peter.
Yeah, Hayley, they set off today with 2 transfer targets, we're told, and it's been a frustrating time for them because we've seen Graham Dorrans go from West Brom to Norwich. We've seen Stuart Armstrong from Dundee United to Celtic. So we're wondering whether Henry Lansbury at Nottingham Forest might be third time lucky. Well, the signs aren't too good. Burnley confirm their interest but won't give any details about a failed bid. But we've had it from the Midlands that a £3 million offer has been rejected by Nottingham Forest. You may remember they were in for Lansbury last summer, but that deal didn't go ahead. Since then, Forest, of course, in this window and the next 2 windows, under a transfer embargo, so very unwilling, not able, should I say, to replace players who leave. So maybe that's a big factor, and certainly their owner, Fawaz Al-Hassami, has said in the last hour or so that they're not selling anyone, and they consider the season still very much alive. Now, whether Burnley take that knockback as the end of the matter, we'll have to wait and see. They've got got a couple of hours, of course, yet to consider that option, but clearly they'll be keen, if they can, to maybe get one in to bolster their ranks, as you say, as they continue their fight for survival. West Brom here, of course, on Sunday. But one little bit of good news, as we're hearing from Vinny a short while ago from Liverpool. Danny Ings, at the moment, still the definitive stance from Burnley. He will not be going anywhere in this window, but at the moment his preferred option, it would appear, next summer would be Liverpool.
Thank you very much indeed, Peter. So stay with us. Carlton Cole arriving at West Brom a short time ago. Is that one going to go through? And when we come back, we'll tell you about the Tottenham player who has turned down the chance tonight, we understand, to follow him to West Brom. It is busy, busy. Stay with us.
Sure sponsors this programme. Do more with Sure.
It's another goal! Number 4! This is an absolute punishment this afternoon. 4-1. They've taken
Whoa, bad Betty, bam-a-lam.
Whoa, bad Betty, bam-a-lam.
Whoa, bad Betty.
Whoa, bad Betty.
Oh, bad Betty.
If you're betting when you're angry or frustrated, it's a bad Betty. Just pause for a moment and think again. When the fun stops, stop.
Drip it. Drizzle it. Dash it. Baste it. Splish it. Splash it. Shake it. Dip it. Squiggle it. Jiggle it. Fry it. Roast it. Mash it. Naturally brewed for over 300 years. Cook it up with Kikkoman soy sauce. And try our teriyaki sauce.
Do you remember the hassle vacuuming used to be before the Dyson digital motor? The vacuum that gives you the suction power of an upright without the hassle of a cord. Definitely not a lollipop.
Wow! Food for giants! Oh, no wonder no one's eaten this sandwich.
Kids discover the world with their mouth. Ariel 3-in-1 pods. Always out of reach, always away from children.
As an RAF reservist, you can train with and work alongside regular airmen and airwomen in one of over 30 roles. And you can start by committing just 27 days of your spare time a year. Find your role in our online mission as a spare time reservist. Search RAF recruitment now.
From the moment we're born, we're seekers. Sneaky peekers. Window shoppers. Discoverers. Spotters. Dreamers. We all search in different ways. That's why we're creating new ways to help you find your perfect car.
Shall I tell you something very interesting about this place? You cannot die or be buried here. Those are the laws.
Listen to Charlie's message. He says he's got something to show me. He says it's precious. What had Charlie found?
Wouldn't tell me.
I don't believe you.
Fortitude, Thursday at 9 on Sky Atlantic HD, or catch up now on demand.
Is it going to go off now? Everyone ready? The new series of Stella starts Friday at 9 on Sky 1 HD.
Don't miss our ringside special with boxing legend Manny Pacquiao. It's on demand now.
Suddenly, from nowhere, West Brom making the headlines at this stage, and 2 hours and 9 minutes to go. until we get to the deadline. Now, in the last few moments, as we showed you, Carlton Cole has arrived from West Ham. He's arrived at West Brom. The chances are that he will join there later tonight. We have heard that Spurs agreed a loan deal with West Brom for Etienne Capoue. The player turned it down. He doesn't want to go there. But Martin Olsen, we hear, is on his way there. And we hear that that could well be a £4 million transfer. He's on his way to West Brom from Norwich to discuss personal terms. It is all happening. Tottenham in the news as well. Of course, if you didn't know it, but Harry Kane has signed a long-term deal. More on that shortly. But the youngster who everybody wants, Dele Alli of MK Dons, 18-year-old, he is to Tottenham. It's a £5 million deal, but he'll be loaned back to MK Dons with immediate effect. So, Tottenham and West Brom at this moment, Kate, making the headlines right now. 2 hours, 9 minutes to go.
Exactly. Let's just talk a bit more about that one significant piece of business earlier on. A new 5.5-year contract. The 21-year-old only signed a new deal in August, but his form this season has earned him improved terms and a contract now until 2020. Well, Kane, who's a boyhood Spurs fan, made his first-team debut in 2011, spent time on loan at Leyton Orient, Millwall, Norwich and Leicester before then establishing himself as first choice at White Hart Lane this season. Well, Kane told the club website this. He said, "I'd love the fans to keep singing my name and hopefully I'll continue to do well on the pitch and we'll continue to do well as a team. It's been a great 6 months. I've been really pleased with how things have gone. This contract is another stepping stone and hopefully now I'll push on again from this and get even better."
I was at Tottenham a long time, seeing a young kid come through scoring goals in training. I remember coming in most days and, you know, when he played in the reserves, I always say to him, "H, how many goals do you score?" You know, always score 2 or 3 goals in the reserve every game. And then you start to wonder, well, if you've got a young kid that's scoring like 3 or 4 goals every game in the reserves, at some point he's got to get a chance. Training with the first team, scoring goals, easy, just natural goal scorer. And it's not surprised me, to be honest. I've said to a lot of people, it's not surprised me with the amount of goals that he's scoring and how he's scoring them, all different types of goals. Natural goal scorer, and I think... congratulations to him, you know, signing that contract, you know, well deserved.
Well, Kane has scored 20 goals in all competitions this season. That is the best of any Premier League player, better than Sergio Aguero, Alexis Sanchez and Diego Costa even.
He's the number one striker now. They've had Adebayor, they've had Soldado, big name strikers, big money strikers, but it's a local boy now who's leading the line for them and rightly deserves that 5-year contract.
I think it's important for Spurs. They needed it. A couple of the signings haven't gone as well as you would have imagined. Particularly the ones that were made a year and a half ago. So I think the fact that they've had someone who has been out on loan many times, they maybe didn't expect him to become the player that he has become, but Pochettino physically looks a much improved player, and I have to say this season been outstanding.
So, there we go. Harry Kane, Phil Thompson, what do you think? 5.5-year deal. It must seem like a new signing for them tonight. That's a great bit of news for Spurs and their fans.
Signing of the window. He has just been incredible. And you're looking to get that 5.5 years done. This lad has been... And it goes to show that these young lads going out on loan, it's not just trying to get them out there. They're learning the trade. They're going out there, seeing how tough it is out there, how they can harness all the skills. And what he's done has been incredible at Spurs. All the different goals that he's scoring there that you've seen is just incredible. And when you have a star like that, he has been exceptional. You need to get him nailed down. And they've done it quickly. They don't want people to start talking. He goes with England, everybody starts bending his ear, and he's put pen to paper.
Oh, Phil's obviously a big fan. What makes him so good for you?
I think the fact that he's had to oust 2 big names in front of him in the Tottenham side. You know, I know they haven't been doing it, but he still had to get past him. It took a while for him to convince Pochettino that he was the #1 striker at the football club. And when he did give him that chance, he took it with both hands, and he's been absolutely brilliant. And Tomo's right, it was important, I think, to get him tied down, because this boy will be in the next England squad. No doubt about that. And he's absolutely right. He's signed and sealed, and he can't have the players in his ear when he's just signed a 5.5-year contract.
It's all yellow and sunny and lovely and warm and cosy in here, bringing you the news. Not so the scenes at Leicester. Rob Dorset, however, hasn't been stood out in the snow in vain. Lots has been happening. We know about the news of Robert Huth. What else has been happening, Rob?
Well, Hayley, as you can see, the snow's come down at Leicester City and their transfer trail has gone cold as well. I've had it confirmed to me from Sky sources in the last few minutes that they will be doing no more business tonight. Robert Huth, the man they've signed on loan from Stoke for the rest of the season, that's the only bit of business they'll be doing today. They were in for Aaron Lennon. He's chosen to go elsewhere and looks bound for Everton. They were in for Etienne Capoue as well at Tottenham, but that deal has fallen through as well. They don't expect to do that. There will be no more business at Leicester tonight, so the snow can come down as much as it likes. There will be no more business at Leicester.
All right, well, Phil, Matt, your time with us has come to an end. Great to have you with us this evening. Thanks very much for your thoughts.
Thanks very much.
I'm afraid you have to make room.
We do, because coming up, we are joined by two gentlemen who will take us right through the deadline and beyond tonight. There they are, Niall Quinn on the left, and the one, the only Paul Merson on the right. Paul and Niall will join Kate myself on set as it begins to motor on deadline day. We'll get their thoughts on Cuadrado, on all things West Brom, Tottenham and elsewhere. It is happening. It's busy on deadline night. Niall and Paul Merson up next.
Il est comme un peintre, comme un chanteur, comme un poète, comme un écrivain.
On n'a jamais vu quelqu'un comme lui. Il était dévoué, corps et âme.
Humilité, courage et solidaire.
C'est un gentleman, voilà.
Il nous a inspirés à devenir meilleurs. L'homme parfait.
Il est l'âme de la ville, il est dans nos cœurs.
Bout de route, merci, Sir Johnny.
Drip it. Drizzle it. Dash it. Baste it. Splish it. Splash it. Shake it. Dip it. Squiggle it. Jiggle it. Fry it. Roast it. Mash it. Naturally brewed for over 300 years. Cook it up with Kikkoman soy sauce. And try our teriyaki sauce.
At Temper, we believe whatever your shape or size, whether you're young or old, your mattress should conform to your body, not the other way around. That's why we offer a collection of mattresses and pillows that give you personalised support. Temper, so comfortable, all you'll feel is weightless.
As an RAF reservist, you can train with and work alongside regular airmen and airwomen in one of over 30 roles. And you can start by committing just 27 days of your spare time a year. Find your role in our online mission as a spare time reservist. Search RAF recruitment now.
Hey boys, so how can I help?
Well, I'm playing a new sport. It's called walking football. It's played by people 50 years plus. There's no running. What we'd like to do is raise the profile of the sport.
Well, I definitely think there's some digital skills will be able to help you and the guys out. We'll help you set up a Facebook page, post a video. You can even pay your subs online.
As people get older, they get isolated, they need to get in touch with their mates, get active, and it does you good. I've done pretty good, haven't I?
Barclays Digital Eagles are helping people with more than just online banking. To get more confident online, just ask your bank.
My name is Olivia Breen. I'm a Paralympian. I've got cerebral palsy. It affects my balance when I run, but I've worked really hard on my core strength because last year I wouldn't have been able to hold myself in the blocks. Sky introduced me to Oakland's College in St Albans, which is an athletics academy, and it's all there so I can focus on my studies, I can focus on my athletics. Excellent. I want to get the gold in Rio, definitely. I want to be on that podium.
Sky Academy, helping young people fulfil their potential.
You're watching Sky Sports News HQ, your home of sports news.
Sure sponsors this program. Sure.
Oh yes, it's deadline day, and it's the business end of deadline day. Where are we now? 1 hour, 59 minutes and 33 seconds to go. Stay with us.
That's right. 2 more guests now joining us here in the studio to bring us through to that deadline. Niall Quinn, Paul Merson here with us right through to the bitter end, to the deadline and beyond.
And of course, we have our team of reporters up and down the country bringing us every twist, every turn and every late deal. And we have Brian Swanson as well, who will be investigating tonight all the stories bubbling under right here on HQ.
Absolutely, Hayley. From 9 p.m. tonight, right now, clubs have until 11 p.m. to submit what's called a deal sheet. That's an agreement reached between the clubs and the players. It must be in by 11. If it is, it buys them a little bit more time, because that means the league give them special dispensation to complete the paperwork by 1 a.m. at the latest.
And we'll keep you across all the deals in the Football League as Thomas Ince edges ever closer to a loan deal with Derby, and Accrington sign a former Real Madrid and Liverpool midfielder.
Let's take you first, and we start by heading to Everton. We learnt the news about Aaron Lennon not going to Stoke, perhaps on his way there, but to bring us all the full and correct details, Alan Irwin.
Yeah, it's quite incredible how things move so fast late on in deadline day, isn't it? Evertonians waking up this morning with news that maybe Adnan Januzaj was going to be a loan signing that Roberto Martinez would make from Manchester United. That was quickly quashed when Manchester United confirmed that Adnan Januzaj wasn't going anywhere. It was all fairly quiet at Everton's training complex here at Finch Farm throughout the majority of the day, but in the last couple of hours things have moved really quickly following Aaron Lennon's impending arrival here at the training complex. He's not here yet. He had been linked with interest from Hull, Stoke and Leicester throughout the course of the day, and finally when he was at Stoke, or on the way to Stoke, we heard from our colleague down at Stoke's training ground, Ben Ransom, confirming that he'd heard from the Stoke chief executive that Aaron Lennon was on his way to Everton. That has been confirmed by the club now here at Everton's training headquarters, and we are waiting for the arrival of Aaron Lennon. The 27-year-old England international should complete the deal before the 11 o'clock deadline. There shouldn't be any real hitches. He wants to come to Everton, and Everton want him as an addition to their squad. The only player they've lost in the transfer window, Samuel Eto'o. So Roberto Martinez will see this as strengthening his already squad that goes into the game against Liverpool in the Merseyside derby on Saturday. So Aaron Lennon on his way to Everton's training complex just to complete what should be now the formalities of the deal.
All right, of course, we always expect Tottenham to be one of the clubs that are busy on deadline day. We just heard then that it looks like Aaron Lennon is on his way out of the club. Paul Gilmore is there for us. Paul, can you tell us, is anybody coming in?
Yes, Kate, we're still expecting one in, and that is Dele Alli from MK Dons, the midfielder who has scored 12 league goals this season, more league goals than any other player in the top 4 divisions of English football. We expect that to be a £5 million deal. He will be loaned back immediately to MK Dons for the remainder of the season. Some news I'm just hearing in the last few moments. I'm hearing from sources close to the player that talks have broken down between Etienne Capoue and West Brom. That now leaves him in limbo. What next for Etienne Capoue? Will he have to remain a Tottenham player? Also, Adebayor, Kabul, Kirakes, still no word on those players who were tipped as potential outgoings here at Tottenham. And Aaron Lennon, as you've been hearing, still no official confirmation from here at Tottenham, but Aaron Lennon looks set to be an Everton player, as you've been hearing, for this weekend's game against Liverpool. We'll keep you posted.
Paul, thanks very much indeed. More from Tottenham shortly, more from QPR coming up, because we've got some interesting news for QPR fans watching tonight. But right now, Paul and Niall join us on set. Paul Merson, what do you think? Aaron Lennon for Everton. Now, we thought possibly Hull, then we thought Stoke, now we know Everton.
Yeah, I think it's a good move for both parties. I think Everton need a bit of revitalising. They're not going through the best of times at the moment. I think he's a very good player on his day. You know, he's out of the Tottenham team, but I like him. A big loss for Hull. I think Hull could have very much done with him, and probably so could Stoke. So Everton have had a right touch, in my opinion. It's a cute bit of business, isn't it, by Bill Kenwright and Everton, I think, tonight, Niall?
They do it time and time again. I can remember being here with you when Lukaku ended up there and everybody expected him to go somewhere else. They do their business quite shrewdly up there, and as Paul says, that there's a spark that Everton need right now, and I think he brings it. If his head is good and he wants to start proving people wrong and getting a sniff at the England thing again, and he goes there in a real positive frame of mind, I think it's perfect for both parties.
So you can see him getting the pitch time that he wants there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously there are other players there, you know, McGeady, Morales, people like that, but I think he's been sort of brought in to shake things up a little bit. There's obviously a need for that, and the managers identify the need for it. You go and look at your targets, and now that they've ended up with him, I think that's a good one. I think he'll get his game time. He's too good to be... He may start on the bench, he may get the first one, but once he gets his act together up there, I mean, he's as quick as the wind, and when it starts to come together and players link up with him, he's terrific. That's a good one for me.
OK, back with you in a second, guys. Let's go down to QPR. Now, Tony Fernandes assured the Queen's Park Rangers fans that he wouldn't be sending any more cheques today and that the club was happy with the squad. I just wonder if that is the case, because Gary Cottle at the training ground right now, I wouldn't have thought that Harry would want to leave it there, do you?
Well, you wouldn't have thought so. It would be very unusual for Harry Redknapp not to be involved in some kind of deadline day drama. It would be very unusual for Queen's Park Rangers not to be involved in some kind of deadline day drama. Lots of activity going on down here at the training ground. Some college football going on one of the training pitches to my left, and if I move around over to my right, you can see the lights still shining brightly in the training base headquarters. Harry Redknapp is still in there. He's been here at the Queen's Park Rangers training ground for 12.5 hours now, arriving at around 8:30 this morning. Also in there most of the day with him was Les Ferdinand, who's in charge of football operations these days down at Queen's Park Rangers. The first transfer deadline day for Les Ferdinand. Wonder how he's finding it. He did leave here, though, a couple of hours ago. We're expecting to hear from Harry Redknapp. He said he would speak to us today before everything was over, and we thought he'd be leaving way before now, but he is still in there. So if he's still in there, you assume that maybe, even though I've just checked with Queen's Park Rangers and they're saying they're not expecting anything major still today, a couple of maybe minor younger players, not first team younger players, minor younger players going out on loan perhaps, but nothing that would take the headlines. But as you say, Harry Redknapp is still in there. We're beginning to hear little rumours about little things that may happen. Adebayor not one of them, but certainly perhaps some movement before the next hour or so is over down here at Queen's Park Rangers. And Harry has said, after talking to me over lunch today and telling me he didn't expect anything to happen, that whatever happens, something or nothing or a little bit or a lot, he will speak to us before he goes home tonight.
Very good. Gary, thanks very much indeed. Get that man another layer of clothing is what I say. That nose is blue. Let's get to Chelsea, Kate. Go for it.
Yeah, let's do that. Just to remind you as well, we've got 1 hour now, 51 minutes, 49 seconds. We are counting down here with Paul Merson and Niall Quinn. They're with us throughout the evening, right to the end of that deadline. As Jim said, let's talk a bit more about Chelsea. After weeks of speculation, they've now tonight announced the signing of Juan Cuadrado from Fiorentina. The 26-year-old has joined now on a 4.5-year contract. We believe that fee is £26.1 million. That's how much his buyout clause was, at least.
So, Kate, the deal is done. Let's hear from the man himself. Juan Cuadrado has been speaking tonight to Chelsea TV. Here he is.
First of all, I'm very happy and thankful for this opportunity I've been given. This is a great club, and honestly, it's like a dream to join the Chelsea family and to know that the manager believes in me. I'm happy. The best part about this dream is that I'm going to be part of such a big club. For me, that's a huge motivation to perform well. I'm a quick and positive player, and I hope to show that on the field of play and help all of my teammates. It's really going to be brilliant to work with one of the best coaches anywhere in the world. I'm very proud to be playing for him, and I think he is going to help me grow into a better player. We are a big club, so winning important things. Playing for this team, of course, the league championship is, I think, the most important thing. As for everything else, Chelsea have big players, so we want to win big things. Best wishes to all of the Chelsea fans. I hope to perform for them in the best possible way, and I hope we can achieve a lot of things together.
Bye.
Well, then, just how good is he? Cuadrado has scored 4 goals in 17 games this season in the Serie A. He also has 4 assists. That means he has created 36 chances. But in terms of dribbles completed, the Colombian comes out on top at Fiorentina, completing 12 more than his teammate. second. Now, Palermo's Franco Vasquez has 6 goals, 7 assists so far this season. That is more than any other midfielder in the Serie A. Juan Cuadrado is 4th on the list with 4 goals and 4 assists to his name.
I wish I could say it as well as you, Kate. The Cuadrado deal only came after it was confirmed that André Schürrle had left Chelsea to go to the Bundesliga side Wolfsburg. Yeah. The 24-year-old signed a 4-year deal and returns once again to the Bundesliga, where he used to play for both Mainz and Bayer Leverkusen. Schürrle follows Kevin De Bruyne, who left Chelsea for Wolfsburg this time last year. Well, just over 40 minutes after the window closed in January, Wolfsburg tweeted this from their official account, confirming the Schürrle signing. Translated, it said, official world champion André Schürrle has joined Wolfsburg. No official information on how much the fee was, but our sources in Germany say it's just over £24 million, which now, Quinn, is a lot of money in anyone's language. Did you think that fellow would leave Chelsea?
No, I didn't, and I'm sure there's a pang or two of regret with Jose Mourinho to have to do that in order to make the other deal come through. I think he was a very dependable player. As you say, he's a world champion. And I like the way he didn't seem to court publicity when he wasn't playing. He just kept putting his head down, kept wanting to come in, and scored, you know, 1 or 2 very important goals for the club. So he didn't hit the heights of you know, players like Diego Costa, for instance, in their Chelsea career. But what he did do, I think, was never let them down. And I suppose they just made the decision. But I do say, I'd imagine Jose thought long and hard before allowing that departure.
I mean, he's a World Cup winner, isn't he? Do you think that's then surprising, Paul, that they've let him go? A World Cup winner?
Yeah, well, I was shocked that he left, because I think he's a very, very good player. A very good player. I don't know if the deal was that they wouldn't sell him to another Premier League team, because I thought there would have been a lot of takers on him. He's willing, he makes good runs, he's very unselfish, he runs without the ball more times than he does with the ball, which is good for teammates. And I think Wolfsburg have had a result. People might go, oh, 20-odd million. He's a World Cup winner. I mean, in this day and age, that's not that much money for a top-draw player.
Well, what do you know about Cuadrado? I mean, he impressed for Colombia at the World Cup. He's a box of tricks. He's an entertainer. So Chelsea fans are going to love this boy. What else do you think they might give him at this time of the season?
Well, he gives them unbelievable pace. I mean, unbelievable pace, and another body and a match winner. I mean, you know, whoever goes to Stamford Bridge sits 10 behind the ball, so you need people who are going to make things happen, and he makes things happen. He glides past players for fun, and he's got unbelievable pace, and I think he's a great buy for Chelsea, a real good buy. Again, surprised no one else was in for him. I really, you know, I haven't heard a load of stories where they were fighting off other teams. It seemed like he was going to Chelsea, and that was it. So he's top draw.
Do you think is this Chelsea doing what City just did? Wilfred Boney goes there. Chelsea move themselves and spend a lot of money themselves. I mean, they're going to fight it out right to the very end now.
You would have thought that's right. Boney will have his role to play. I think Manchester City finding it hard to break teams down. Boney can sort of do that role really well. It's another option for Man City. But I like the work ethic of Cuadrado. You know, I think Jose does not let players into that side, as we know from Mata, who are not prepared to do the shift going back the way as well. You're laughing at my pronunciation, you know, I know.
Very good now.
Yeah, but I think there's a side to it as well that Jose looked at and said, OK, this guy fills 2 bills for us. And it strengthens him up unbelievably.
Now, Paul, for our own sake, Kate, give us the best Cuadrado. What is it?
Paul, the bar's been set high. Let's hear you first now.
Cuadrado.
That was a slight ventriloquist dummy attempt, Paul, but we'll go with it. Now, Quinn?
Cuadrado.
OK. We're going to go to Aidan McGee because very shortly when we come back, Cuadrado apart, we've got a bit of news that there is a bit of player movement at QPR. We knew there would be, but there is a bit of player movement. Here's Aidan McGee.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. We understand Norwich wants to sign Craig Noone from Cardiff, but the clubs are still wide apart on transfer fees, and the deal is also looking difficult logistically because of distance between Norwich and Cardiff. 2 lines, though, to bring you now from Dagenham, who've signed striker Daniel Corr on a 1-month loan deal, and Dagenham have also extended Watford striker Alex Jakubiak's loan spell at the club until the end of the season.
They're one of the teams you've been mentioning there, of course, at Norwich City, and it can be confirmed via their official Twitter of a player who's leaving the club on loan, and it is Carl Lafferty. And they have said he's gone on loan to Turkish side Kayseri Rizespor. He's a Northern Ireland international, so he joins the Super League outfit. He's made 20 appearances for the Canaries this season. He scored just 1 goal. He only joined the club, of course, in the summer last year, in 2014. He's going to be staying in Turkey until the end of the season, and they have confirmed that via their Twitter.
All right, then next up, we're live to Glasgow, where Celtic are refusing to give up on signing this man, Dundee United's Stuart Armstrong.
Sure sponsors this programme. Do more with Sure.
Hey, look what I told Max to do.
That's great. I taught Sammy something too.
Matt Wallace tweeted, "The game's not on telly tonight, Paddy. Gutted." Well, we hear you, Matt, but not to worry. Paddy Power's app has got you covered. Just open up our shiny new Pitch View and follow all the action as it happens. Then have a look at the stats. That was Stoke's 81st throw-in. Ha! And if your team's under the cost deep into squeaky bum time, you can always cash out early. Don't spend it all at once, Matty. Oh, he already has. That's scandalous. Download the Paddy Power app now. We hear you.
With a commitment of as little as 19 days a year in the Army Reserve, there's more than one way to be the best. Find out more. Search Army Reserve.
This isn't a poker story you'll find in any movie, where I beat a bad run with a great hand and walk away with the pot. Forget it. If I'm going to turn this game around, it won't be how I play these cards. It'll be how I play him. So, I go all in. Why? Because I don't think he has the heart. Do you? Forget the movies. The best poker stories are right here at Full Tilt.
Drip it. Drizzle it. Dash it. Baste it. Splish it. Splash it. Shake it. Dip it. Squiggle it. Jiggle it. Fry it. Roast it. Mash it. Naturally brewed for over 300 years. Cook it up with Kikkoman soy sauce. And try our teriyaki sauce.
One man is determined to save our great British dinner, our traditional meal, our fish and chips.
Fish and chips gone out of fashion. I want to bring it back.
A large portion of fun
Price it up for you.
with a dash of excitement.
People are throwing caramel.
And a sprinkling of salt and vinegar.
We've run out of petrol.
I want to see as much as I can of Britain. It's beautiful.
Flintoff, Lord of the Fries, starts Friday the 13th of February, part of Great Shows at 8 on Sky One.
Join the Magic Man, Paul Merson and myself on the Fantasy Football Club. Catch up now on demand or via skysports.com/fantasyfootball.
Yes, hi, good evening. Time is a-ticking. You can see there less than 2 hours to go now. 1 hour, 40 minutes and just a few seconds still to go in this transfer window. We're hearing that we've got big news coming out of Liverpool this evening. Can surely only mean one thing. Ricky Lambert. Let's get to Vinny O'Connor and find out what's been happening. Vinny.
Yeah, confirmation from Sky sources that Ricky Lambert won't be going anywhere. It's something that we've been reporting from the Villa end, that it wasn't going to happen, and so it transpires as well. It's been kind of on and off without a fee really being agreed between the two sides, and also a little bit of speculation thrown into the mix as well. But certainly our sources telling us now that Ricky Lambert will not be going anywhere in this transfer window, pretty much confirming as well what Brendan Rodgers said to us earlier today when he said he didn't want to see any of his first team squad leaving on this transfer deadline day. In terms of incomings, we know of Liverpool's interest, of course, in Danny Ings, but given that he's not leaving Burnley in this transfer window, he'll be seeing out the season with them. That's a deal that Liverpool can do another day if he's to join them in the summer, and certainly my sources within Liverpool are telling me at this very moment in time that Liverpool are closed for business now in this transfer window. There'll be no more incomings, and certainly no outgoings either now.
There is breaking news. Where is it at? Queen's Park Rangers. It is. Gary Cottrell there for us. What can you tell us?
Yeah, we are hearing that there might be some movement on this transfer deadline day here at Queen's Park Rangers. Remember, right at the start of this transfer window, Mauro Zarate, the West Ham United striker, came here on loan. He was Harry's one and only signing of this transfer window, but it doesn't seem that that has worked out, because we're hearing that Zarate may well be going back to West Ham, and coming in his place as the fourth loan player at the club would be Matt Jarvis, the former Wolves and currently West Ham midfielder, capped for England once as well. He hasn't been playing as often as he'd like at West Ham. 4 Premier League appearances, a couple in the FA Cup, but the kind of player that Harry said he wanted, a creative midfielder if he couldn't get someone to go up front. So Matt Jarvis, we're hearing, perhaps in the time allowed, if he can get here on loan, will be coming to Queen's Park Rangers. Zarate going back the other way. He wasn't here long, was he, if that happens?
Gary, thank you very much indeed. So there you have it. Breaking news at Queen's Park Rangers, breaking news at Liverpool. But here at the social media desk, we are trending. We thought we would be, but we've also gone viral. Have a look at this. Deadline date. Deadline date. Deadline date. Deadline date. Deadline date. Deadline date. Hours of dance practice. Hours of dance. You can't touch this. Fantastic. MC Hammer, I'll be phoning you very shortly.
Dear, what to say? I don't know. What do you make of that, boys?
Well, Cuadrado is renowned for being a great dancer. I think he's nothing to worry about from what I've just seen.
All right, what have we got next for you? We want to go to live to... Here he comes.
First, I think I've pulled something. It's not good. It's not good. Sorry, Kate. Good evening.
No. You go ahead.
MC Hammer's the name. OK.
OK, where we're going to go over to Carve Solacol now. St Mary's. Ronald Koeman brought in midfielder, also got some pair of good feet on him.
Yes, there could be some more good news for Southampton fans. We're hearing that Southampton are trying to tie up a deal to sign Ryan Bertrand on a permanent contract. Remember, he moved here on loan from Chelsea in the summer. That was a loan that was going to last for the whole of the season. But we understand there is an option to make that move permanent during this window. Southampton working very, very hard to get that done. I've been told that is still a possibility. Southampton hopeful that that will be done. And that will be quite a coup for Southampton as well. Remember, they sold Luke Shaw in the summer. Bertrand was bought in to replace him, and he's played very, very well, been very impressive, although he did get sent off yesterday against Swansea, and he will be missing the next 3 games. But it would really be a coup for Southampton if they managed to tie him down. Remember, he was a player who almost joined Liverpool last summer for £8 million. Well, apart from Bertrand, the other incoming today has, of course, been Filip Jurčić from Benfica on loan. That's a loan deal, can also become a permanent move next summer for about £9 million, according to reports in Portugal. But the news at the moment is that behind the scenes, Southampton working very, very hard to sign Ryan Bertrand on a permanent deal. Of course, that would mean that Chelsea would be bringing in even more money. They've sold Schürrle, they're selling Mohamed Salah, and it could be that they're also selling Ryan Bertrand on a permanent deal to Southampton.
All right, let's tell you a bit more about him. Who is Filip Jurčić? He's 23 years old, an attacking midfielder. Started his career with the Serbian side, Radnički Obrenovac. He's played 145 times for Heerenveen, Benfica and Mainz, scoring 28 goals. Now, Jurčić has 19 caps to his name for Serbia. He scored 4 times for them, and he won the league title and 2 domestic cups as well during his time at Benfica.
Just, Kate, just while you were saying that there, I am hearing that West Ham trying to get the services tonight of the Senegalese centre-back, 6'4" defender Kara Mbodj. Central defender, Kara Mbodj. We'll look at that. Hull, meantime, still looking to bring in a player before this window closes tonight. And our colleague Tim Thornton is at the KC Stadium right now. And I think you've spoken to Steve Bruce, Tim, in the last hour. So what's he been telling you?
Yeah, Steve Bruce is in Paris. He's been there for much of the day. I've spoken to Steve Bruce, and he is still trying to conclude a deal for Darmen Ndoye, the Senegal striker. Now, Senegal were involved in the African Cup of Nations, so they were only eliminated on Tuesday, which is why the timings on this one are very, very difficult in terms of getting the deal done. Negotiations have been difficult throughout the course of the day, and Steve Bruce has told me that this one is up in the air, although talks are continuing this evening, and here at the club they are doing everything they can to get this one over the line. So they're still looking to get that one done. It's the only deal that they are working on. Steve Bruce has confirmed that as well. And I can tell you, after a day of frustration when Aaron Lennon was another target who's gone elsewhere, there is one player leaving the club. In the last few seconds, it's been confirmed that Derby County have signed Tom Ince on loan. That has been confirmed to me in the last few seconds. So one player out. They're hopeful of getting one in, but it could go right down to the wire.
All right, meanwhile, Swansea, of course, having that money from the sale of Wilfried Bony burning a hole in their pocket. Will it be? Could it be used for a deadline day transfer? Let's find out. Let's go live now to Amy Lewis. She's at the Liberty Stadium. Amy, I believe you've spoken to the chairman today. What was the latest?
Yes, good evening. As you say, there is that money burning in his pocket after the sale of Wilfried Bony to Manchester City. Earlier this morning, I was told first thing that the club were hoping to bring in a left-back and also a midfielder. However, when I spoke to the chairman, Hugh Jenkins, this evening, he said he didn't think that anything else was here this evening. Some good news though for Swansea fans, because of course Timby Gomez, he said earlier on in this window that he wanted to leave. However, he has tweeted this afternoon saying he was going to stay put. I caught up with his agent, had a chat with him earlier on, and he said that his client had said that he was hoping to progress here, show what he can do, score a lot of goals and probably emulate hopefully what Wilfried Bony had done, of course, because Bony had said last window that he wanted to leave. Now, with regards to Hugh Jenkins, the chairman, when I spoke to him earlier on, I asked him a bit about what was going to happen with that £28 million that they got from Bony. He said that they were looking to increase the capacity here at the Liberty, and also, obviously, there's trying to buy the stadium from the council. So he said that that money could help towards that. Don't expect it all to go on transfers. I also asked him about the future of Swansea. There's been a lot of talk in the last few months about the fact that the club could be up for sale. We certainly know that they have been looking for investment. This is what Hugh Jenkins said to me in reference to that.
The club has never been for sale, and there's been speculation, there's been interest, and I think where we are now in the Premier League, the club is attracting a lot of interest with the coverage on Sky TV and on all the live games right across the world. It's a big thing to be involved in, and no doubt Swansea is gaining a lot of publicity for that. There'll always be interest. The way we run the club, the success we're having on the field, it's a good thing for us, good thing for the city, but it'll always provide speculation. But as long as we're successful, it'll be a good thing.
Okay,
thanks. We are live to Manchester United's training ground, where all the talk is about the man driving this car. Can't quite see him. Now maybe you can. Quickly anyway. Darren Fletcher. Good Lord, I'm having a bad day. And the future of Wilfried Zaha as well. We'll have more on that. Stay with us.
Sure sponsors this programme. Do more with Sure.
Come on, Spike. Get in, come on.
You'll love the action even more with another great offer. So keep it fun and gamble responsibly. You'll love a bit of Betfred.
With a commitment of as little as 19 days a year in the Army Reserve, there's more than one way to be the best. Find out more. Search Army Reserve.
Academy Award nominated for Best Picture.
Dr. King is here?
Selma is tremendous, unmissable, the best film of the year.
Those that have gone before us say no more!
Selma.
People think Californians are just a bunch of dreamers.
With our heads in the clouds.
Like a bunch of space cadets. Huh? What?
I've drawn a blank. What's my line?
Maybe we do live in a fantasy.
A little bit out there. Maybe.
But just a bunch of dreamers?
No way!
We're just like everyone else.
We put our board shorts on, one leg at a time.
Start dreaming big at visitcalifornia.co.uk.
At StanJamesSlots.com, we have over 150 of the best online slots with some of the biggest names, plus 16 progressive jackpots and the chance to win £1 million anytime, day or night. Join now and get 5 free spins. So what are you waiting for? Play slots at StanJamesSlots.com.
Itchy, flaky scalp. T-Gel Anti-Dandruff Shampoo helps eliminate dandruff starting after just one use. T-Gel Anti-Dandruff Shampoo from Neutrogena.
Available to buy and keep in Sky Store now.
Day one, Greenie. What is this place?
The maze. When those doors open, the runners look for a way out. And no one has ever survived a night in the maze.
We get out now, or we die trying. You don't get it. We're already dead.
Buy and keep The Maze Runner now, and you'll get it straight to your TV and the DVD set direct to your home. The Maze Runner. Available to buy and keep on early release in Sky Store now.
Now then, a little under 1.5 hours to go until we get to the deadline. The deadline, of course, 11 o'clock tonight, 12 o'clock in Scotland. We'll stay with you right through the deadline and beyond. And right now, it's a race against time for most of the clubs, including West Bromwich Albion, who are desperate to get players through the door tonight before 11 o'clock. And we understand that Manchester United's Darren Fletcher is hot foot on his way to Chris Hull. Any sign, Chris?
You're absolutely right, Jim. Darren Fletcher, we believe, is just minutes away from West Bromwich Albion's training ground. You saw those exclusive shots just about half an hour ago, exclusive to Sky Sports News HQ, of Carlton Cole arriving here at West Brom's training ground. Well, we're expecting the Manchester United stalwart, 31-year-old Darren Fletcher, to arrive any moment now. The Scotland captain is a fine addition for Tony Pulis. Don't forget, this is Tony Pulis's first transfer deadline day as a West Bromwich Albion manager, and he's done some very good business. He was desperate after losing 2 strikers today to get another striker in. Carlton Cole's in there, dotting the I's and crossing the T's on his contract, and also all to develop. And as soon as Darren Fletcher arrives, Jim, we'll be there.
Good man. You're going to be around there until we tell you you can go home. That's the bottom line, my friend.
Right then, Darren Fletcher
No problem, Jim.
departed Old Trafford. Let's get over there now to James Cooper. He's at the training ground, in fact. James, what can you tell us?
Well, to think I thought Jim White was a nice sort of charitable human being, that's all gone to shop tonight, hasn't it? But if you think about all eyes in August being on the Carrington Training Complex and Radamel Falcao, all roads seem to lead away from Manchester United tonight. We know about Darren Fletcher leaving about an hour and a half ago. I think the weather's not great between Manchester and West Brom, so I think it's probably taking a little bit longer and making the clock a little bit more difficult when it comes to that move. But Manchester United delighted to be able to give their longest-serving player a free transfer if he meets the criteria that West Brom are looking for. And I think, you know, they're going to experienced player, and perhaps Manchester United will be slightly poorer without that. The way United work, if a player's leaving this football club, the onus is on the buying club or the receiving club to make that announcement. So we are waiting to hear from West Brom. Likewise, we're waiting to hear from Crystal Palace about Wilfried Zaha. We believe a long-term deal there is on the cards. A smaller fee than Manchester United paid, much smaller than the 15 million they paid 2 years ago, but there will be an upfront fee and then another fee based on appearances and whatever he achieves at Crystal Palace. We're also waiting to hear from Internacional of Brazil about Anderson's future. He's now left Manchester United. Again, a free transfer after 8 years there. Hopefully that'll all be sorted out. You'll hear from them first before Manchester United. But one thing Manchester United have been keen to tell us about is the future of Adnan Januzaj. This morning we thought he might be off on loan. The club had said throughout this window that he wouldn't go out on loan. They reiterated that today, and so it's proved. He hasn't gone anywhere. He didn't go to Everton, didn't go to PSG. And there's also a suggestion this evening that striker Jesse Lingard might also follow him out on loan. But Anders Lindegaard, the goalkeeper and backup for the likes of Valdez and, of course, De Gea, will remain at Manchester United in this window.
One of those players mentioned there, Wilfried Zaha, could he be on his return to Palace? When will that be confirmed? Very soon. I'm sure we will find out as soon as it does. And Crystal Palace have actually tweeted another signing into the club, a young man you might not have heard of. They have said they've signed Keshman. He's called Keshi Anderson from Barton Rovers through until June 2016 for an undisclosed fee. Now, he plays non-league football. He scored 19 goals for this team at Barton Rovers. Now, he was on trial at Brentford just last month, and he played in a development game against Crystal Palace and scored a hat-trick. So they have had their eye on him from then, and they have managed to sign him and confirm that. So that is until June 2016. One player leaving a club, and Tottenham Hotspur have confirmed that Benoit Assou-Ekotto has been released from his contract, and they simply say, we wish him well.
Hayley, thank you very much. So where are we now? 1 hour, 22 minutes, 30 seconds to go until we hit the deadline. Niall and Paul staying with us right through that and beyond. What about the Premier League champions, though, Kate? Fraser Dainton is at the Manchester City training ground for us right now. Fraser, what do you think? Anything doing?
It's not looking likely, I'm afraid, Jim. We were told pretty early on that the possibility of Manchester City signing anybody on deadline day was very, very slim indeed, and that certainly appears to have been the case. Not a sniff, not a sausage, nothing whatsoever. We were hearing there might have been the possibility of somebody leaving, but I understand that move has broken down as well. So it looks as though with just over an hour or so to go, Wilfried Bony is the man that obviously Manchester City brought in earlier in this transfer window. Pretty much the only business they have done, and it looks like that will be that when the clock strikes 11 o'clock a little bit later on.
Fraser, thank you.
And so then it looks like City got it all wrapped up pretty early now. Would you have expected them? Would you have hoped for them to do more?
Not really. I think they've got a fine squad as it is. And with, I suppose, Champions League and everything else that's coming, I'm glad players haven't drifted out of there either, that one or two just didn't head off to make that deal happen. It's more that they've strengthened it now, and they've identified an area that, you know, that can be altered, if you like, the way they play to that centre-forward area. You know, Aguero does what he does, we know. Dzeko has a way of playing. But this guy's different. Bonnie's a great signing for them. I think some people question whether it'll work full term, whether he'll command the respect from the other players to be in week week out. But I just think they've become unstuck so many times this season trying to break defences down. He can get it and he can hold it in more dangerous areas than the likes of Dzeko. So I'm pleased for Man City. I'm sure the fans are with that bit of business. He's hitting it off out in the African tournament as well. He's doing really, really well. And he'll come back in form, and glad to see no players leaving.
Cuadrado apart, is Boney the signing of the window?
I think the two of them are up there. Of course they are, and the fee they paid would make that stand out. Interesting to see how both are going on. I'm not so sure Chelsea needed Cuadrado. as much as Man City needed Bonnie. I think that's the way I see it. I think Bonnie has the makings of the one that can really make the difference here. And the other players will I suppose the Man City players, they'll feel a little bit relieved that there's another option, there's a different way of playing here, and he'll come into the Man City fold in good form. Cuadrado, it's going to be a hell of a job for him to get in at the start as well. You look at those Chelsea three across that line that are supporting Diego Costa. I mean, he doesn't just go in there straight away. Who do you leave out? And I think it's a good business from both clubs.
Paul, what do you see Bonnie bringing to City?
Exactly what Noel said. He holds it up better than anybody. He can hold it up. He brings people into play. Will he play? Aguero plays up front on his own, and then Silva plays behind, sort of thing. I think the later on in the season it goes, and they'll probably still be chasing Chelsea. They have to win football matches, so they might as well go two up front and play Boney and Aguero and find somewhere for Silva to play, who has to play. He's world class. But in the old days, 5, 6, 7 years ago, I think Chelsea would have bought Boney as cover for Costa. Even if he was 28, 30 million £. But them days have changed now, and it makes it even better for everybody else because he's getting spread around.
Now, Paul, have a look at this. We were telling you earlier on about Darren Fletcher on his way from Manchester United to West Brom. Well, in this vehicle is one Darren Fletcher arriving at West Brom just a short time ago. So Tony Pulis moving tonight and moving quickly. Carlton Cole is already there. We hear that Martin Olsen is trying to get there. And now we know that Darren Fletcher is there. Tony Pulis in West Brom looking to bolster the troops, bolster the squad tonight. Fletcher in at West Brom, and we're following it very, very closely indeed.
Certainly are. Over 300 appearances for Man United. Paul, will be a good signing for West Brom if it goes through?
Oh, great signing. Oh, great signing. I mean, this lad's played at Man United. I mean, he's a winner. He has all the experience in the world. He's played in big football matches. Yeah, for me, this would be the signing of the window so far, in my opinion. For someone at this end of the scale, a team that needs to stay up, I don't think you could buy anybody better. I really do. I think he's top draw.
He solidifies the midfield. I think that's probably what he's been brought to do, to really control that midfield, get them all doing the right things. And from the look of it, the manager now, he's been there a little while, he's gone, look, we need the certain areas we need, and I really need a leader and a calming influence in that midfield, because there's going to be a lot of edgy games between now and the end. And also the fact that, you see Cole going in there and Olsen, coming as well. You can see that the word they use, solidify. He wants a stronger, more strengthened West Brom approach, because if you look at the way they've developed since they've come back into the Premier League some years ago, they were a bit tip-tappy to begin with, and managers lost their job because of that. And now what Tony Pulis, what they're all trying to do now is just to get them as solid as can be, and Fletcher is a real solid midfield signing.
Yeah, and people say, he's 31 years of age. He has missed a lot of football because of his illness, so, he could play for a long time, this lad. And I always think you've got to be an experienced footballer to play that holding midfield role, because you're the one who's got to tell people where to go. And when you're 31 and you've got that experience, when he walks into that dressing room, he's played for Man United. I think that double lifts all the players at West Brom. OK,
Paul, so West Ham's loss might be West Brom's gain tonight. Darren Fletcher is there. Let's go north. Celtic refusing to give up tonight on signing Dundee United's Stuart Armstrong. Here's Charles Patterson in Glasgow. Charles, what can you tell us? Because they've had a few offers rejected already today. So what's the latest?
Well, there was an offer accepted earlier on this evening, Jim, for Stuart Armstrong from Celtic. Dundee United have finally allowed the player to take a medical. That's going on at the moment. Gary Mackay-Steven, his teammate, is also undergoing a medical. He signed a pre-contract with Celtic. Looks like both of them are now going to move to Celtic tonight. That means they'll both miss the League Cup final against Celtic on March the 15th as they'll be cup tied. Across the city at Rangers are bringing in 5 players on loan. The paperwork is being finalised at the moment, but 5 loan signings, all from Newcastle United. Quite an extraordinary situation at Ibrox, but they will be getting new blood as well. And just on Dundee United are trying to compensate for the loss of Stuart Armstrong. They've been bidding for Scott Allen tonight. I can tell you that their pursuit of Scott Allen is over. He will not be going to Dundee United. They are losing 2 players this evening, United, to Celtic. The medicals need to be finalised and the paperwork too, but it looks like Stuart Armstrong, Gary Mackay-Steven are moving to Celtic, Jim.
Charles, thanks very much indeed. So an hour and a quarter to go. Deals being done all the time, but it now is, as it always is on deadline day, a race against time. West Brom trying to do a shed load of business, including trying to get the signing of Darren Fletcher. He is there now, and now it's up against the clock. It always is.
Sure sponsors this programme. Do more with Sure.
Add even more excitement to your season with Sky Bet's generous sign-up offer. Place a £5 bet and we'll give you a £20 free bet in return. Place accumulators with easy-to-use sports coupons. Or try the new Sky Bet Tracker, bringing together live football data, bet status and cash out in one place. Download the Sky Bet app today for your free £20. Sky Bet. Are you in?
Drip it. Drizzle it. Dash it. Baste it. Splish it. Splash it. Shake it. Dip it. Squiggle it. Jiggle it. Fry it. Roast it. Mash it. Naturally brewed for over 300 years. Cook it up with Kikkoman soy sauce. And try our teriyaki sauce.
Come. It's just beyond this door.
What is?
My playroom.
Like your Xbox and stuff?
I don't do romance.
You two turning it up a notch? You could say that. You said you didn't do romance.
That's what you do to me.
Oh, no.
As an RAF reservist, you can train with and work alongside regular airmen and airwomen in one of over 30 roles. And you can start by committing just 27 days of your spare time a year. Find your role in our online mission as a spare time reservist. Search RAF Recruitment now.
Wherever your perfect property may be, if you're in the market, you'll find it at onthemarket.com.
I spent the last hour learning that particular tune to rouse you.
Sherlock Holmes, my colleague, Miss Watson.
You broke into my apartment?
You break into my home all the time.
All new Elementary.
Can't wait to get started.
Returns Tuesday 17th of February on Sky Living HD.
Is it gonna go off now? Everyone ready? The new series of Stella starts Friday at 9 on Sky One HD.
Don't miss our ringside special with boxing legend Manny Pacquiao. It's on demand now.
We have confirmed the Cuadrado deal. We have confirmed as well Andre Schürrle back to Wolfsburg. And we can now confirm that Mohamed Salah has left Chelsea. They have tweeted tonight that he has joined Fiorentina on loan until the end. We expected this would happen if they manage to capture the services of Juan Cuadrado. And we've heard from him. We've also seen some Instagram pictures from him as well. And he's also given us another tweet as well saying, blue on my boots, blue on my shirt. So happy to be Chelsea FC. So Cuadrado in, Salah out.
Hayley, thanks very much indeed. 1 hour, 10 minutes and 56 seconds to go now. Deadline day is never deadline day without Harry Redknapp. Let's find out what Harry is up to down at the Queen's Park Rangers training ground. Gary Cottrell is there for us now. Gary, what can you tell us?
You're quite right, Jim. We don't have deadline day, do we, without Harry Redknapp? And he's waited and waited to make his first appearance of the day with 1 hour and, 10 minutes to go. We've had a word with Harry.
No, nothing happening. Been sitting here all day. No, really, at the moment, nothing, Gary, nothing at all.
It's quite a late one.
Yeah, it's been difficult today, you know. We've been trying, you know. Les has tried hard to get a couple of deals done, but at the moment, There's one possible, but it's looking a bit doubtful.
We've heard maybe Matt Jarvis coming in to replace Zarate and Zarate going back.
That's a possibility. That's the one that we're looking to do. Other than that, it's been a long, difficult day.
He's got a bit of pedigree though, Matt Jarvis.
Yeah, Matt Jarvis, yeah, I like him. Good player, good born. But we're still waiting to see if that happens.
But quite frustrating in a way.
Difficult. It's not easy. I said all along it's difficult day. Last day of the window, it's not easy to get deals done.
Has it been the least active of all the deadline days for you, Harry, in all your time?
Well, I mean, I've been at clubs where we haven't had to do anything before, at Tottenham and that, when we didn't need any players. So, but we have tried. We've tried, but it's not easy.
There was never any.
No. Sean Wright-Phillips, no, nothing happened there.
There's never any real chance of getting Emmanuel Adebayor in, just the wages
tried,
and things.
But it was difficult, yeah. Difficult one.
And also we heard potentially a couple of youngsters going out maybe on loan.
Yeah, a couple of young kids, but not players that were in the first team here,
And Adel Taarabt, did he turn down a move?
No, I don't think he's turned down a move. I don't think he's had a move. It was not a move for him, so
you feel, though, despite the frustrations of today, you've still got enough to be able to do the job?
Yeah, we keep trying, don't we? We get on with it. We train tomorrow and get ready for Saturday.
Well, that move that was spoken about there by Harry Redknapp, the one that he said was possible but also could be problematic, is looking problematic. Zarate, who came on loan right at the start of this transfer window from West Ham, going back to West Ham and being replaced by Matt Jarvis, who Harry said he was fond of there, coming in tonight before the transfer window closes. We hear that the Premier League may well stop that from... We'll update you on that as soon as we can.
Gary, thanks very much indeed. So, we heard from Harry Redknapp, Kate, as we always do on deadline day, but Paul, we heard from a very subdued Harry Redknapp there. He is going to be livid tonight, I would think. The Queen's Park Rangers couldn't get a deal done and get one over the line.
Oh, I think he'll be fuming. I mean, he's been in the game too long, Harry. He needs to bring players in. He knows you have to bring at least one or two in. I mean, I think they're in the bottom three. I mean, you need to bring players in. If you don't, they're going to find it very difficult to get out. And Harry's been around a long time. I mean, he'll be... For me, I think he'll be fuming. If he don't get anybody in, he'll be devastated.
Now, surely they could have done some... They should have done some business.
You asked the question, why do they always leave it so late? But he normally comes up, doesn't he? He takes the rabbit out of the hat before the end of every window, and he's looking very subdued there. Is it a tactic to get somebody... You wouldn't put it past Harry, but I do feel from a little bit, because that's his strength. His strength is bringing players in, bringing the right players in at the right time, adding to the mix, and he'll look up at West Brom, and he'll be very, very envious. He'll see what they've done and understand exactly what they've done. They've done it the right way, and they've got themselves strengthened. And he's looking at it saying, now this, tonight, when I go home and sleep on this means, we're a step backwards again.
Now, as you speak, I am getting a message here that Adebayor refused to go to Queen's Park Rangers.
Yeah, disappointing for her.
So they have been trying, they've been knocking on the door.
Yeah, a player, oh yeah, they've been trying, but a player Harry knows well, and you just be amazed that Harry, the good old Harry in the old days, would have had that wrapped up before Adebayor even got thing. But it hasn't happened, and look, it's a difficult one. QPR fans will be a bit frustrated about it, and Harry has to now go into training the next day, tell everybody he didn't want anybody anyway. I believe in you guys.
Exactly.
Your squatter is good for me. I played a bit of blarney with the media there, but I think we all know he needed strengthening.
Paul, your reaction there, tutted out loud, shook your head, rolled your eyes. What were you thinking?
Adebayor, he's not playing football. Why wouldn't you want to go and play for Queen's Park Rangers? You're going to play every week. You're playing for a top draw manager who, as a centre forward, is a dream, because you're going to get action. They're attack, and he wants to sit at Tottenham and sit on the bench. He's not going to play for Tottenham. I'm not even the manager of Tottenham, and he won't be playing.
You're talking about Tottenham, Paul. Let's go to Tottenham now, because we've got some breaking news, as I understand it. My colleague Paul Gilmore will fill us in. Paul, good evening.
Yes, Jim, good evening. Sky sources telling us that Dele Alli has passed a medical with a view to a move to Tottenham. Just waiting on paperwork to be finalised. £5 million fee. He will be loaned back immediately to MK Dons, where he has scored 12 goals from midfield this season. In England, under-19 international as well. No official from the club just yet, and in addition to that, Benoit Asuakoto has been released by Tottenham. His last appearance for the club, May 2013 against Sunderland. He was then on loan to Queen's Park Rangers last season, and he's had this to say. He would like to thank the club for the opportunity, the opportunity to play top-level English and European football. So Benoit Assou-Ekotto has been released by Tottenham, and Dele Alli, Sky sources telling us, has passed the medical. That one imminent.
Plenty going on in the Football League this evening on Deadline Day. A reminder of the breaking news, though, this hour. Thomas Ince has joined Derby on loan from Hull for the rest of the season. And in the last few minutes, Barry Bannon has confirmed on his Twitter page that he signed for Bolton from Crystal Palace. Sorry, he signed for Crystal Palace from Bolton. Possibly moving the other way. Remember, Bolton's Chung Young-Lee has been at Palace today, but he's now left the training ground. No official confirmation on that deal yet, but we will keep you updated. Another Football League line to bring you now, and that's Tyrone Barnett going to Shrewsbury from Peterborough for an undisclosed fee on a 2.5-year contract. Meanwhile, Bolton striker Connor Wilkinson has returned to Oldham on loan until the end of the season.
Right, let's take you to Sunderland and find out from Mark Benstead what is happening there right now, Mark.
I'll tell you what, there's a snowstorm swirling around the training base here, but far quieter inside today. No new players coming in so far, and I can confirm there will be no new faces coming in before that 11 p.m. cut-off. They're done in terms of incomings to the club. It's all about outgoings today. The most recent of them, Cabral, the midfielder. He's left the club by mutual consent. He arrived here from Basel, having played Champions League and Europa League football, but he hasn't forced his way into the team. Won't be able to now. He's moving on to find pastures new. Aside from that, well, of course, Mavrias, the Greek player, returned to Panathinaikos on a 6-month loan deal until the end of the season earlier today. That aside, not much else going on. All quiet here at the Academy Alliance.
Well, not much going on there, but it's all going on elsewhere at West Brom, at West Ham as well. We'll have big news when we come back, but we're getting closer to the deadline. It's all going to happen in the next hour. 1 hour, 3 minutes to go. Stay with us.
Magnificent. Just like these live odds from Betfair. Get your mobiles and tablets ready. This is Play Betfair.
Everything is a game. Life, football, doesn't matter. You know, in any fight, you got to believe in yourself. Never go back. Want it more. Try harder. Tear down everyone else around you. You'll fight your way into the light. You will live the revenge.
Imagine!
Are you not listening to me? Yeah.
Top 11 2015. Be the special one. Download now for free.
At Temper, we believe whatever your shape or size, whether you're young or old, your mattress should conform to your body, not the other way around. That's why we offer a collection of mattresses and pillows that give you personalised support. Temper. So comfortable, all you'll feel is weightless.
People think Californians are just a bunch of dreamers.
With our heads in the clouds.
Like a bunch of space cadets. Huh? What?
I've drawn a blank. What's my line? Maybe we do live in a fantasy.
A little bit out there.
Maybe.
But just a bunch of dreamers? No way!
We're just like everyone else.
We put our board shirts on, one leg at a time.
Start dreaming big at visitcalifornia.co.uk.
Hey boys, so how can I help?
Well, I'm playing a new sport. It's called walking football. It's played by people 50 years plus. There's no running. What we'd like to do is raise the profile of the sport.
Well, I definitely think there's some digital skills will be able to help you and the guys out. We'll help you set up a Facebook page, post a video. You can even pay your subs online.
As people get older, they get isolated, they need to get in touch with their mates, get active, and it does you good. I've done pretty good, haven't I?
Barclays Digital Eagles are helping people with more than just online banking. To get more confident online, just ask your bank.
One man is determined to save our great British dinner, our traditional meal, our fish and chips.
Fish and chips gone out of fashion. I want to bring it back.
A large portion of fun with a dash of excitement.
People are throwing caramel.
And a sprinkling of salt and vinegar.
We've run out of petrol.
I want to see as much as I can of Britain. It's beautiful.
Flintoff, Lord of the Fries, starts Friday the 13th of February, part of Great Shows at 8 on Sky One.
You're watching Sky Sports News HQ.
Well, you just saw our great old friend Big Ben. Just what? Where are we, Kate? Less than 1 hour to go now until we get to the deadline itself. And Chelsea, of course, proving to be big spenders today. They got the man. They got Juan Cuadrado. But there is plenty going on, Kate.
That is right. Tottenham, Everton, West Brom, Crystal Palace, QPR, all just a few of the clubs trying to make major signings tonight. They now have under an hour to go until 11 p.m. Well, I guess Niall Quinn, Paul Merson going to be with us throughout the evening, right up until that 11 o'clock deadline, but then also, of course, beyond that.
There's no rest for our team of reporters as well across the country. We have got it all covered. Clubs could leave it as late as 1 o'clock to get the deals done.
It is all about a deal sheet. It's going to be said this deal sheet has to be in by 11 p.m. tonight. What that does is it buys Premier League clubs a bit of time. They've got to have notified the league of their intention to sign a player. If that deal sheet's in, they have until 1 a.m. at the latest to complete the paperwork.
And we'll also keep you right up to date with all the deals in the Football League right up until 11 o'clock as Norwich chase Cardiff's Craig Noone and Derby sign Thomas Ince on loan.
Let me tell you, Kate, we've got big news coming in about West Ham, who have gone all out tonight for a big name player who says he wants to join them. But stay with us. Aaron Lennon, meantime, had 3 Premier League clubs come in for him today. It looks like tonight he has chosen Everton. Let's go live now to Alan Irwin at the Everton training ground. Alan, less than an hour to go now. So, Aaron Lennon for Everton. It's going to be tight, isn't it?
It is. Everton may well be utilising one of those deal sheets that we've just been referring to, which will give them the extra couple of hours. But there's not so much pressure due to the fact that this is going to be a loan deal that will see Aaron Lennon arrive at Everton until the end of the season, with then a view to a permanent move. Everton may well leave the formalities of a medical, etc., until tomorrow, but they're still expecting Aaron Lennon and that deal to be completed this evening, still yet to arrive here at Everton's training complex, and then there will be the paperwork to go through, and they are hoping, of course, that there are no last-minute hitches and that the deal can be completed before the 11 o'clock deadline. But if they utilise that deal sheet, they can take them through until 1 o'clock. So the 27-year-old former England international hasn't played for his country for 5 years or so now, on his way to Everton to strengthen Roberto Martinez's squad, because there's been plenty of speculation that 1 or 2 may go out of Everton this evening. But we do understand that Kevin Morales is going nowhere. There was rumours that he could be linked with a return, a move down south to Tottenham. And also Sylvain Distin as well, rumours that he may well be on his way to West Ham. But having spoken to Everton again just a few minutes ago, can confirm that no players are leaving Everton. So Roberto Martinez has strengthened his squad, provided that deal can be completed this evening, to bring Aaron Lennon here on a loan deal through to the end of the season.
Alan, thank you very much indeed. We are hearing tonight, it'll be very interesting to get Paul and Niall's views on this. We're hearing tonight that West Ham have made a late bid to bring in Emmanuel Adebayor. They have moved for him. Now, as we understand it, guys, that West Ham are happy with the deal. They've met Tottenham's conditions. Adebayor wants to go. Now, Spurs at the moment are undecided, and we've got less than an hour to go. So Adebayor sitting, waiting, wondering if he's going to be a West Ham player tonight by the end of this window. Now, Niall Quinn, Paul Merson, we're saying there Adebayor doesn't want to go to QPR. You questioned that, Paul.
I got that wrong, didn't I?
Well, it may work
What
out.
about this, West Ham?
I mean, you think he was just going to sit there and pick his money up and not play, but it looks as if he may have been holding out for this West Ham thing to happen. The interesting there is if he joins West Ham and he joins Sam Allardyce, he'll be expected to put a shift in. And you're almost fearing the time when he starts putting his hands on his hips in a West Ham shirt and Sam jumps up off the bench to get him going. But if he goes there with the right attitude and he wants to show people that he's not on his way out in football and he's still a major force, it represents an opportunity for both of them.
To be fair to him, Paul, a player can do this, can't he? He can say, well, no to QPR. Maybe he said no at that time, knowing that West Ham were waiting in the wings.
Yeah, he's probably right. I mean, I thought he didn't want to play, but I would go QPR. The way he plays his football, the way he can play, I think QPR suits him better. I think, you know, Harry will give him a lot more leeway than what Sam will. I think at QPR, Harry knows it, and he'll let him play his way. If he strolls around some games, Harry knows what he's like. I just think at West Ham, if he don't put in a shift there, then West Ham fans will be right on him. Ex-Tottenham player as well. I don't know if that works. I don't. West Ham, Tottenham, I don't think it works.
Yeah.
I
would have gone QPR.
OK, it's getting busy now. Well, it always does. We're well into the last hour. Now, what about Aaron Lennon, of course? We were saying there, Everton bound, and we're waiting for that one to get over the line. But Paul Gilmer has been down at Tottenham, and Paul's been a busy boy. And Paul, you brought in some breaking news in the last hour of a new arrival at Tottenham. Tell us what the latest is here, because we can tell you, Paul, since your announcement, Tottenham fans are buzzing about this boy.
Yeah, Jim, indeed. Dele Alli, Sky sources telling us, has passed the medical, just subject to paperwork being completed. The MK Dons midfielder, 12 goals from midfield this season, the highest scoring midfield player, highest scoring than any player from that area of the pitch in all four tiers of English football. A £5 million fee. He will be loaned back immediately to MK Dons to see out the season, but they are excited about him here. 18 years of age, he's capped at England under-19s level, and no official confirmation from Tottenham on that, or indeed any other deal. When we talk about Lennon, we talk about Adebayor. One thing they have mentioned officially is Bemo Asuakoto. He has been released by the club, and Kabul, all of those players at the moment, it's all gone a little bit quiet. Adebayor just beginning to bubble under the surface, isn't it, with that West Ham news? Some suggestion that Tottenham may not have wanted to pay him to play for one of their rivals. So we wait and see what happens there. But they're certainly expecting a few more outgoings before the deadline closes. And of course, the confirmation that Dele Alli, hopefully soon, will be a Tottenham player.
Yeah, bringing more on that as soon as we have it. Thanks very much, Paul. Of course, we heard earlier on, just a short while ago, in fact, from Harry Redknapp, didn't we, looking not really his usual bubbly self this transfer deadline day. Let's go over to Gary Cotterill. He's at QPR. Gary, been a frustrating day for Harry, has it?
Yeah, frustrating, I think, is the word. 9:15 this morning he arrived here at the training ground. 9:45 this evening he left. 13 hours he spent in the offices behind me. The lights now all out. A frustrating 13 hours, and an unlucky 13 in the end, because it looks like nobody in and nobody out. Les Ferdinand, the head of football operations, was in there with them as well for much of the day, trying with Tony Fernandes, with Philip Beard, the CEO, to get a deal done. But in the end, it seems nothing is going to be done. Here was Harry a few moments ago.
No, nothing happening. Been sitting here all day. No, really, at the moment, nothing, Gary, nothing at all.
It's quite late.
It's been difficult today, you know. We've been trying, you know. Les has tried hard to get a couple of deals done, but at the moment there's one possible, but it's looking a bit doubtful.
We've heard maybe Matt Jarvis coming in to replace Zarate, and Zarate going back.
That's a possibility. That's the one that we're looking to do. Other than that, it's been a long, difficult day.
He's got a bit of pedigree though, Matt Jarvis.
Yeah, Matt Jarvis, yeah, I like him. Good player, great cross with the ball, but we're still waiting to see if that happens.
Quite frustrating in a way.
Difficult. It's not easy. I said all along it's difficult day. You know, last day of the window, it's not easy to get deals done.
Has it been the least active of all the deadline days for you, Harry, in all your time?
Well, I mean, I've been at clubs where we haven't had to do anything before, you know, at Tottenham and that, when we didn't need any players. So, but we have tried. We've tried, but it's not easy.
There was never any.
No. Sean Wright-Phillips. No, nothing happened there.
There's never any real chance of getting Emmanuel Adebayor in, just the wages
tried,
and things.
But it was difficult, yeah. Difficult one.
And also we heard potentially a couple of youngsters going out maybe on loan.
Yeah, a couple of young kids, but not players that were in the first team here, you know.
And Adel Taarabt, did he turn down a move?
No, I don't think he's turned down a move. I don't think he's had a move. It was not a move for him, so
So you feel, though, despite the frustrations of today, you've still got enough to be able to
we've got to,
do the job.
Yeah, we keep trying, don't we? You don't, you know, we get on with it. We train tomorrow and get ready for Saturday.
So just to clarify then, because of Premier League rule, because Zarate arrived here at the beginning of this transfer window on loan from West Ham United, and the plan was to send him back to West Ham United, things just didn't work out, and replace him with Matt Jarvis coming in on loan from West Ham United. Premier League won't allow that to happen, we understand, because it would mean in one transfer window 2 players coming in on loan from the same club, and that isn't allowed. So even that, hinted at by Harry there being problematic, turns out that it is problematic. Nothing doing for Queen's Park Rangers tonight.
Oh, well, we do expect something to happen at West Ham. Why is that? Well, their co-chairman, David Gold, has tweeted, cryptic, and he said, don't go to bed, DG. So he's instructing you all, do not go to bed. Stay tuned to Sky Sports News HQ. That news that Jim White brought you just a while ago about that late bid for Adebayor could be happening. But we know that something will happen because the chairman says so.
David Gold, going to bed is not an option. 49 minutes to go until the window shuts. Niall and Paul are with Kate and myself. Now, West Ham making the news tonight. Tottenham have been in the news. West Brom are really making the news because it's a busy, busy place there tonight. Chris Hull can tell us more. Chris.
Jim, in the last hour we've had sub-zero freezing conditions. We've had snow and we've had a blizzard here at West Brom's training ground. We've also had a blizzard of transfer activity. Darren Fletcher and also Carlton Cole, they are in the building. Medicals are being done. I's and T's are being dotted and crossed on the contracts here at West Bromwich Albion for them to become West Bromwich Albion players before that 11 deadline. First of all, we can see Darren Fletcher arriving literally within the last half an hour. He arrived, he met the officials. He did a few bits and pieces inside the West Bromwich Albion training ground, and then he's been rushed off for a medical, then to get back in order to sign the contract. Carlton Cole, we also saw him arrivingly exclusive on Sky Sports News HQ just within the last hour. Don't forget, Carlton Cole, 31 years of age, 7 England caps, and Tony Pulis, after losing 2 strikers today, will be hoping that Carlton Cole will have the goals to help steer West Bromwich Albion away from the relegation zone. The other one that we're keeping a very close eye on is Martin Olsen, who's making the long journey from East Anglia, from Norwich City. All part of that Graham Durand move. And if he can get here before 11 o'clock, that might be the 3rd deal that Tony Pulis has done here on transfer deadline day. His first transfer deadline day here at West Bromwich Albion. I think the general consensus is that he's done very good business indeed.
All right, thanks very much. Keeping a close eye, of course, on Old Trafford this evening. Can Man United fans expect anything to happen in this final hour? James Cooper.
No, I think all roads lead outside from Manchester United. What a day for Darren Fletcher. He trained with the first-team squad. He went to the hotel ahead of the Cambridge United game with his first-team squad members here at Manchester United. Come 11 o'clock tonight, he may well be a West Brom player. We're waiting also for confirmation on a deal to make Wilfried Zaha a permanent Crystal Palace player. I'm told a long-term deal is on the cards there, along with a fee for Manchester United, but a lot less than the 15 million they paid Palace 2 years ago. There'll also be, I think, confirmation of Anderson's new deal at Internacional, a Brazilian side back in his homeland, ending 8 years here at Manchester United. There could also be a loan for striker Jesse Lingard, who was pulled out of the under-21s game against Fulham tonight, and I think is negotiating a loan move to a championship club. As for people staying, Adnan Januzaj prevented from making a loan move anywhere. Louis van Gaal very much keeping the Belgian international in his plans for the rest of the season. He stays. It's all about who goes now, and I think the way Manchester United work, expect to hear from West Brom, from Crystal Palace and from Internacional that they've signed those players. Manchester United will now let them do the work.
Well, Derby County, they made their 6th signing of the window. They did it in time tonight, and they've secured the services of Tom Ince. And on their Instagram, they have tweeted from DFFC this evening, signed Tom Ince on loan from Hull of the season, with a really good picture of him with his new shirt.
Time is running out in the Football League as well as everywhere else, and Sky sources are telling us that Craig Noon's proposed move to Cardiff to Norwich is off. The clubs had agreed a fee of £2 million, but Norwich have now pulled out of that deal. Elsewhere, Sheffield United have signed striker Matt Dunn from Rochdale on an undisclosed fee. Sky sources understand Bradford are on the verge of signing Blackpool defender Gary McKenzie on loan until the end of the season. The club submitted the paperwork at 10 p.m. and are just waiting for the FA and Football League to approve the deal. And finally, Cheltenham have signed former Arsenal youngster Jordan Windsor from Bristol City on a free transfer. It's Cheltenham's fourth signing of deadline day.
OK, 45 minutes to go until we get to the deadline. We're hearing that Manchester United are set to sign Andy Kellett from Bolton on loan. Just getting that into us here. What about Danny Ings? Now, this fella, his name has been on a few people's lips today, and we know that Burnley are working right up until the deadline itself. Let's go live now to Turf Moor and join Peter Stevenson. Peter, good evening. What's the latest?
Yeah, good evening, Jim. Burnley have been insistent, they've been adamant, they've been determined to keep hold of Danny Ings in this transfer window, but an awful lot of speculation today about what happens after that, what happens to Ings in the summer. And there was initial suggestions that he'd struck a deal with Real Sociedad. That's not the case, and it would appear that if Danny Ings is to move away from Burnley in the summer, then it will be to Liverpool. That seems to be his preferred target. But the situation for the moment remains the same. Ings will be, as trained today here at Burnley, and will be staying with the club after this window, determined to help them stay in the Premier League. Now, what is very interesting, their next game live here on Sky against West Bromwich Albion. We've seen and heard in the last few minutes just how busy they have been in this window, but for Burnley it's been a completely contrasting day for them. Frustration wherever they've turned. They've gone for 3 targets. Graham Duran's from West Bromwich Albion now gone to Norwich, of course, and then Stuart Armstrong, Dundee United to Celtic. They went for Henry Lansbury, we believe, earlier this evening at Nottingham Forest. That deal didn't happen either. But we are told for certain there is still one deal they are chasing. Lee Hughes, the chief executive, is still in his office, not gone home. We saw white smoke emerging from a chimney a few minutes ago, but I'm told that's nothing significant, just the central heating kicking in.
All right. Central heating's given out at Burnley, has it?
Dear.
Love it.
OK, then clock continues to count down. 43 minutes exactly now to go. Niall, Paul, what do you make of that? Surprising that Premier League clubs didn't go in harder for Danny Ings?
Well, I think Burnley have done very well to hold on to him, because it was on everybody's lips for the last number of weeks. It looked as if there was something stirring. His agent would probably have loved the whole thing to have happened for him. But it's a good move for Burnley at this stage. You know, where they are, it's almost waving the white flag if they sold him in the campaign. So surprised they haven't managed to get 1 or 2 sneaky ones in that a club like Burnley could do, that, you know, players have chosen to go elsewhere, that they've missed out on those 3 targets, you know, that was spoken about there. That's disappointing for them. But they've got a game at the weekend against West Brom, who look as if they've done some really good business. And, you know, come the weekend, come Sunday morning, or sorry, Sunday evening after the result, you know, will that money be well spent by West Brom? Will Burnley be left in a bigger hole? It's the thrill of it all. And Burnley will come out and say we're happy with what we've got. Of course they will. But you can be assured that they would have preferred to have got 1 or 2 in who might have made a difference. And I think that's, you know, a halfway point for him. Keeping Ings, yeah, that's not bad either.
It tells us a lot. At this time of night, Burnley are still working, as Peter Stevenson said, to try and get somebody in. I mean, there is a real declaration of intent there to fight all the way to stay in this Premier League.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's took them a long time to get here, and you don't want to just go out. I mean, when you look at it at the moment, it's surprising me only really West Brom are really doing business down near the bottom of the table, and this, you have to be in this league. It's the best league in the world, and you have to be in it. Sometimes you have to take a chance. Sometimes you have to gamble, and you bring in players that you probably have to pay a bit more money for. You probably don't even really want them, but they will improve you for 1 season or even 6 months. For me, I just can't believe what's going on at the moment. I thought down the bottom, I thought people would be buying players left, right and centre, because you fall out of this league, and for me, that's it.
Yeah, and I think there's a point there as well. Sometimes you have to give people 3-year contracts to try and get a good 6 months to keep the whole thing right, and it's a gamble. And it looks to me as if there's been a few commercial decisions made down at the bottom of that league to say, you know, listen, the gamble isn't worth it. If we're stuck with somebody on a 3 or 4 year deal and we do go down, that one is too big for us. They've probably tried to look at more comfortable ones that they can live with as commercial people. And it seems to be the way since, I believe, financial fair play has you know, become very apparent. That it has become very apparent to say now that clubs are looking at that more and more, and the fact that it's not, you know, there's not 2 or 3 going off doing it and 2 or 3 really worried about it. it's kind of a little bit more wholesale. The people are getting a little bit smarter and cuter in the commercial departments of football clubs.
Well, now, what we do know is that many clubs still burning the midnight oil at this stage. It is deadline day, and we're into the last 40 minutes of it. Deals being done, and they're trying to get deals done as we speak. So 40 minutes to go, and then we will hear the 11 o'clock chimes and bongs. Yeah, that's what happens on deadline day.
Crown Trade sponsors Sky Sports News at 10, trusted by professionals.
So there's the professor, the bearded calculator. Knows all the stats and facts and reckons he can work the whole thing out. Which winds this man up no end. Where's the fun in form, he says. When you know, you know you know. You know? They are the dreamers, the glory seekers, the Wednesday night warriors. If Saturday was a cow, they would milk it. They are the betting men. And this is the Ladbrokes Live. Join in with the Ladbrokes app.
Win new customers. Present great projects. Reach new audiences. Take your success into your own hands with 1&1 My Website. Quick and easy for all business sectors, domain included. Optimised for Google. Try now. 1&1.co.uk.
Drip it. Drizzle it. Dash it. Baste it. Splish it. Splash it. Shake it. Dip it. Squiggle it. Jiggle it. Fry it. Roast it. Mash it. Naturally brewed for over 300 years. Cook it up with Kikkoman soy sauce. And try our teriyaki sauce.
Academy Award nominated for Best Picture.
Dr. King is here?
Selma is tremendous, unmissable, the best film of the year.
Those that have gone before us say no more!
Selma.
At Temper, we believe whatever your shape or size, whether you're young or old, your mattress should conform to your body, not the other way around. That's why we offer a collection of mattresses and pillows that give you personalised support. Temper, so comfortable, all you'll feel is weightless.
I want to feel like I'm an astronaut.
I love gadgets. I love the lights and you close the door.
Bum, bum, go! You get in your car, she's sitting down.
Business class.
It's exciting.
Heads blown in the wind. I think me and cars were meant to be.
I'll be a very good driver. Ooh, Little Miss Show Off.
Whoa, Bad Betty.
Whoa, Bad Betty, Bambalam. If you're betting more than you can afford, it's a bad Betty. Just pause for a moment and think again. When the fun stops, stop.
Crown Trade sponsors Sky Sports News at 10, trusted by professionals.
Yes, more deadline day drama in the Football League. More Premier League class heading towards Derby County. Sky sources understand Jesse Lingard has agreed to go there on loan until the end of the season. Remember, he also signed a new 3.5-year contract at Manchester United earlier. Meanwhile, Keith Andrews, also a former Premier League player, has rejoined MK Dons. The midfielder had his loan deal at Watford cut short and has now joined Carl Robinson's side for the rest of the season. Andrews left MK Dons in 2008 to join Blackburn.
OK, Kate, Emmanuel Adebayor could well end up being the story of the next 40 minutes. West Ham trying to get a deal done, but Spurs, of course, are trying to get somebody in to replace him. And that's where this move could fall down, as we understand it. But Adebayor willing to go, ready to go. But time's running out, as it always does at this particular time. The last hour on deadline day. Let's go down to Southampton. They've already brought in one player, of course, and Kavi Solikol told us earlier this evening that they were trying to get another one. Well, Kavi, they've got 34 minutes in which to get one.
Yes, that player is a player who's actually already here on loan from Chelsea. He's the left-back, Ryan Bertrand. Now, he joined last summer as a replacement for Luke Shaw, and he's done so well. He's been so impressive that Southampton are trying to use this window to turn that loan into a permanent move. I think he would cost probably a lot of money, probably somewhere between £5 and £10 million. And it's no secret that Chelsea have been selling players to try and balance their books. Now, I was told that Southampton were hopeful that a deal was done, but they weren't too hopeful, if you sense what I mean. And also now, with time running out, it's really touch and go whether they can make that one happen. A deal that definitely has happened, though, is Philip Djurtic joining on loan from Benfica. And Ronald Koeman has been talking about him, explaining why he decided to sign him. He said he's a very clever player, a player who can play in different positions along the front, and he believes he's a player who can develop at Southampton. And of course, Ronald Koeman has got such a good record as developing young players. I think overall Southampton fans will be pretty pleased about how this window has gone. If you look back to the summer window and to all those players that Southampton lost, like Ricky Lambert, Adam Lallana, Luke Shaw, you have to say they've done pretty well here. All their big names have stayed. Morgan Shireland hasn't gone anywhere. Jay Rodriguez hasn't gone anywhere. Nathaniel Klein hasn't gone anywhere. And they've also managed to add a liar to their squad, and also Djurtic, and maybe even now with just 33 minutes left, getting Ryan Bertrand on a permanent deal from Chelsea would round off a very, very good window.
Right, then, thanks very much, Carve. So then, just over half an hour to go, 33 or 32 minutes now to be exact. Let's go over to Newcastle. Keith Downey there for us. Keith, we heard about those deals to take a number of Newcastle players over to Rangers. Have we got any more on that?
Yes, there's 5 Newcastle young players, squad members, that will be making the journey to Rangers to sign loan deals there until the end of the season. All 5 of them are currently still here in Newcastle at St James's Park, finalising paperwork before making those switch. So there's a variety of players. Some of them have played a couple of games for the first team. Some of them have been out on loan before this season and previous seasons as well. The likes of Haris Vukic, who was at Rotherham last season, Remy Street, who spent time on loan at Port Vale, Gail Bigarumana, a former Coventry City youngster, and Shane Ferguson, who's had quite a few loan spells and a Northern Irish international as well. They'll be joined by Kevin Mbabu, a young Swiss defender. So 5 players leaving, joining David Santon, who left on loan to Inter Milan until the end of the season there, with a view for a permanent transfer at the end of the season. So it's all been quiet on incomings here at Newcastle throughout deadline day, but 6 players going out on loan, fairly trimming John Carver's squad. He'll be pleased, though. It looks as though Moussa Sissoko will stay here certainly until the end of the season. He's been their best player so far this season, and he will stay here. So a real coup for Newcastle that they've kept him, but 6 players going out on loan.
So we have half an hour for Arsenal to do some business, if they're going to do anything. We can go to Garrett Hughes to find out anything happening with you, Garrett.
The office is closed at Arsenal. There'll be no business done in the last half an hour for Arsene Wenger, for Arsenal. Such a contrast, of course, to the last window, and of course when the Danny Welbeck deal kept us up until the wee small hours. But Arsenal have done their business. 2 signings in, of course, Christian Bielnik from Legia Warsaw and Gabriel from Villarreal. That is it. Arsene Wenger only said it would have to be someone very, very special. There wasn't somebody at his front door this morning that persuaded him it's worth the deal. So Arsenal are closed for business. They have done their dealings for this transfer window, and they are very, very happy indeed.
Geraint, thanks very much indeed. So, Niall, 30 minutes to go. Are you surprised that Arsene hasn't done any business late on?
I think he's not the type of fellow to go rushing into stuff like that. He wanted to have it all coolly done, and the Gabriel signing, he strengthened the back. He's spoken about the importance of that. He's got a player in there that he feels is enough defensively, and I think, offensively, they don't really need anything to come in. There's just so many good players now across the middle of the park. You look at it and just see what Sanchez has brought to that team has made them all feel better about life. It's just a matter about keeping it solid at the back, and the one signing they made does that. And Arsene's Arsene. He's as cute as a fox at times like this, and he goes down routes that sometimes we don't think. And who's to say that this Gabriel signing isn't going to be a fantastic signing?
Do you agree with that, Paul, or would you have liked to have seen him strengthened somewhere?
I would have liked to have seen him strengthened as a holding midfield player. I think Coquelin's done well, but... Yeah. Will he be able to do that over a long distance of games? He was put on loan before, so I would have liked a holding midfield player like a Schneidlin or someone like that to come in and bolster it up. Going forward, no, I don't think they need anybody, but I just think they need an experienced holding midfield player.
Now, we are hearing now that Adebayor to West Ham. West Ham want him. Adebayor said earlier tonight apparently that he wants to go there. We're hearing now, Quinn, that Spurs aren't keen that he goes to West Ham because they are so close in the table. Sure. And we're also hearing now that Harry Redknapp and Queen's Park Rangers are now making another late push to sign Adebayor.
Well, that makes real sense at this late stage, and Harry will have got a lot of encouragement out of probably hearing that, and he's got back on the case, and who knows, Harry might just deliver that rabbit out of the hat yet again.
We never know, Paul. Adebayor might yet end up at Queen's Park Rangers.
If he does, they've got a chance of staying up.
Yeah?
Very much so. Very much so. Still a top draw player, but I can understand now, because if he goes to West Ham, I'm sure Tottenham will have to pay some of his wages. Would they want to? Who would want to do that? You sell him to a team that are 3-4 points adrift from him, and you're paying half of his wages. For me, I think it's a QPR or nothing.
OK, we are hearing two deals while Paul was speaking there. With 20 minutes to go, we're hearing that Aaron Lennon is a done deal. He has joined Everton. We're hearing that moments ago, and we're also hearing, Kate, at this moment, that Wilfried Zaha has now moved back to Crystal Palace. It is a permanent deal, and it is a deal that has just been done in the last few minutes. So Lennon has gone, Zaha has gone back to Crystal Palace, and we shall be hearing from Wilfried Zaha very shortly. We have half an hour to go. Big Ben, getting ready. We're ready. The deadline, as it always does, it comes too quick for us. Stay with us, though. We'll be live to Tottenham in the next few moments. Will Adebayor be leaving Tottenham for West Ham? Will he be staying at Tottenham, or will he be going to Harry and Queen's Park Rangers? All these questions will be answered in the next 27 minutes.
Crown Trade sponsors Sky Sports News at 10, trusted by professionals.
Hey boys, so how can I help?
Well, I'm playing a new sport. It's called walking football. It's played by people 50 years plus. There's no running. What we'd like to do is raise the profile of the sport.
Well, I definitely think there's some digital skills that will be able to help you and the guys out. We'll help you set up a Facebook page, post a video. You can even pay your subs online.
As people get older, they get isolated, they need to get in touch with their mates, get active, and it does you good. I've done pretty good, haven't I?
Barclays Digital Eagles are helping people with more than just online banking. To get more confident online, just ask your bank.
You'll love the action even more with another great offer. So keep it fun and gamble responsibly. You'll love a bit of Betfred.
What does it take for the RAF to respond to a humanitarian crisis? It takes air traffic controllers, engineers, RAF regiment gunners, aerospace battle managers, medics, chefs, full-timers, spare-timers, and you. Find your role in our online mission. As a full-time regular,
or a spare time reservist. Search RAF Recruitment now.
Drip it. Drizzle it. Dash it. Baste it. Splish it. Splash it. Shake it. Dip it. Squiggle it. Jiggle it. Fry it. Roast it. Mash it. Naturally brewed for over 300 years. Cook it up with Kikkoman soy sauce. And try our teriyaki sauce.
You won't find a story like this in any poker movie. Just ask this guy. Short stacked and dead set on this pot. Exactly what I want. So this plot's got a twist. And now he makes his play. But has he got the heart? Or is he just hoping I don't? Well, I'm not leaving without a show. Forget the movies. The best poker stories are right here at Full Tilt.
Hugo man. And new Hugo woman.
As far as the crew believes, they're halfway through a 100-year journey. These people are heroes.
It feels like falling back in ocean.
You have someone inside Ascension.
You have a wild imagination.
Falling back in ocean.
This whole project is one big lie told to 600 people.
This is the most important endeavor in human history. It's impossible.
Brand new Ascension. Catch up now on demand.
Crown Trade sponsors Sky Sports News at 10, trusted by professionals.
So there you go, there's a look at Big Ben. This is when it begins to get frantic here on transfer deadline day. 23 minutes to go now, Jim.
Absolutely, and time, not unsurprisingly, is beginning to run out for certain clubs like West Ham, who are trying to get deals over the line, like West Brom. It is a busy, busy place at West Brom. There are medicals underway as we speak, but as Kate rightly says, time running out, 23 minutes to go, but we're following the situation very, very closely indeed. One deal has been done, though, up at Everton, hasn't it?
That's right, Everton, exactly. Just a few moments ago, we told you that Aaron Lennon, now an Everton player. Alan Owen, this is now 100%, is that right?
The deal has been completed. Yes, Everton fans, panic no more. The deal is done. Aaron Lennon is an Everton player. He's here on loan until the end of the season. The 27-year-old England international comes in to strengthen Roberto Martinez's squad, and Everton have beaten off competition from a number of clubs today, including Queen's Park Rangers, Hull City and Stoke City. Aaron Lennon's paperwork has now been completed. They've got it done and dusted before the transfer deadline of 11 o'clock, and he is an Everton player on loan to the end of the season. Everton would then take a view as to whether to purchase Aaron Lennon on a permanent basis.
Wow, so Everton fans very happy, no doubt, at this time, especially at this time in the window. What about Swansea fans? Because they all know that Hugh Jenkins, who spoke to Amy Lewis not so long ago, he has £25 million rustling about in one of his two pockets, because that was the money they got for Wilfred Boney. Amy, what do we know? It's the Liberty Stadium at this stage in the proceedings.
Well, Jim, the good news tonight is that Bafatimbi Gomez will be staying here. That was the thing that fans have been asking me about all day, because, of course, during this window he had said that he wanted to leave. However, he's tweeted saying he's staying put. His agent has told me that he's going to spend the rest of the season showing what he can do in terms of scoring goals. And then in the summer, they're going to reassess the situation. In terms of moves for the club, Ryan Hedges, young forward, he's going to be staying at Leyton Orient for the rest of the season on loan. Was told by the club earlier on today they wanted to bring in a couple of players. However, Hugh Jenkins has told me that's not going to happen this window. But as you say, he's got all of that money from Wilfred Boney, which are going to have that to spend in the summer, although he says that some of that will also go in terms of stadium expansion here at the Liberty Stadium. So some good news, as I say, with Gomez staying here and now saying that he's going to spend the rest of the season trying to show what he can do.
All right, thanks a lot, Amy. What about that breaking news that we brought you out of Crystal Palace just a short while ago? Wilfried Zaha completing now a permanent return to the club from Manchester United. Signed a 5.5-year deal, we're hearing. He's spoken to our reporter David Craig as well.
Well, Wilfried, congratulations. You're back home at Crystal Palace, signed a new 5.5-year deal. Just tell us in your own words how it's all come about and how pleased you are.
Well, I weren't really getting much game time at United, so I obviously needed to go out on loan, and obviously came back to Crystal Palace and they gave me opportunity to get some game time. So from that, obviously, the gaffer tried to buy me a couple times when he was at Newcastle, and obviously brought me back here. And now I think I'm glad I'm coming back permanently. Like it's more game time and in the Premier League as well, and I'm just glad I'm playing for Palace in the Premier as well.
As a young player who thrives on confidence, just how important is that game time to you?
Yeah, to be honest, for me to play better, I need to play a lot really. So having the gaffer that trusted me as well just helps quite a bit, and it helps my confidence. Like I know if I get more games, I'll be a better player. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to get.
Does it feel like coming home?
Yeah, it definitely is. Like I started here, I've been here since the age of 8. So just being back is definitely home, and playing for Palace in the Premier League as well it's a great achievement as well.
You mentioned Alan Pardew there. He's had a fantastic start here. What is it that he's brought to you and the rest of the guys that sparked that?
As I said, he brought hope and new ideas, and he just made the team think about the offensive side more, because you can't defend the whole game. You got to try score goals to win the game. So he just brought that, and for me, he's just given me a bit of trust really, like to go out there and do what I know how to do. So yeah, paid off.
Is it enjoyable when a manager tells you to go and entertain and attack players?
Yeah, it clears your mind really. Like going onto the pitch with too many thoughts doesn't really help. So it's better when you just go out there with one thing, just to enjoy yourself and play for the team. So that's what I've done.
5.5 years is a big commitment. What would you hope to achieve with Palace in that time?
Everything really. I think we've got a good enough side, and obviously the gaffer's adding on a few more players, so I think he can get far, and I'm just glad to be part of the team really and back here again.
Crystal Palace fans are some of the most passionate in the country. What message would you have for them on joining again?
The fans know what to expect from me really. Like, I'll give it my all for the team. I'm just happy to be back, and I just want to see how far we can go really, because I think with the team that we have, we can go further than we are right now.
And just finally, would it be fair to suggest we've still got to see the very best of Wilfried Zaha to come?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I definitely know there's more to come. Like, I know I've got a load of practicing and stuff to sharpen up on, but there's a load more to come for me, yeah.
Well, listen, many congratulations. You're one of the big deals on deadline day. Enjoy it. Well done.
Cheers, thanks.
Now, we have been trying to get to the bottom of QPR's pursuit of West Ham's Matt Jarvis. We heard from Harry Redknapp earlier tonight saying that they were looking at trying to do this with Mauro Zarate going back to West Ham. They asked the Premier League, Queen's Park Rangers, for special dispensation. The Premier League told them that they were thinking about it. Harry Redknapp then spoke to reporters. The Premier League then said that it couldn't happen under Premier League rules because Zarate joined them earlier in the clear that one up. Lots happening on the social media desk. Hayley.
Oh, Brian, I tell you what, there's been some interesting tweets. We saw that David Gold had tweeted about half an hour ago, "Don't go to bed." So obviously we are still here bringing you all the breaking news on Sports News HQ. Then we had Jack Sullivan. He is the chairman of the Youth Supporters Club, and he always brings the top West Ham news according to his Twitter. Of course, son of other co-owner A. Sullivan, and he tweeted, here we go, "Going to be an interesting hour." Well, he's just tweeted now, sadly, despite trying to do 8 deals today, everything has collapsed in the last 2 hours and are now unlikely to do any business. So goodness me, that is Jack Sullivan tweeting that there. So we will, of course, keep you up to date if anything does happen at West Ham. You're teasing us there, aren't you? Right, let's bring you news on Tim Cahill. We heard earlier on when we had Thierry Henry in the studio with Jamie Redknapp as well, confirm the news that Tim Cahill was leaving New York Red Bulls and is a free agent. Where he's going, tipped to possibly go to China. Well, we have Tim Cahill here, who has tweeted, "I will be making an announcement today, 10:30 a.m, that's Aussie time, regarding my playing future. Thank you for all the kind messages." So we will know 10:30 a.m. Aussie time where his next move will be.
Very interesting, Hayley. Tim Cahill, maybe he's going to announce that he's coming back here. We'll wait and see. In a moment, we'll catch up with Paul and with Niall, but Kate and I are clock watching, as we often do here at Sky Sports News HQ. But tonight, we do it in earnest. 14 minutes, 39 seconds to go until we hit the deadline. And West Brom up against it. They're trying to get the signature of Darren Fletcher tonight, who arrived there a short time ago. They're trying to get Carlton Cole to sign up, and Martin Olsen's there having a medical. It's all go.
Crown Trade sponsors Sky Sports News at 10, trusted by professionals.
Matt Wallace tweeted, "The game's not on telly tonight, Paddy. Gutted." Well, we hear you, Matt, but not to worry. Paddy Power's app has got you covered. Just open up our shiny new Pitch View and follow all the action as it happens. Then have a look at the stats. That was Stoke's 81st throw-in. Ha! And if your team's under the cost deep into squeaky bum time, you can always cash out early. Don't spend it all at once, Matty. Oh, he already has. That's scandalous. Download the Paddy Power app now. We hear you.
Everything is a game. Life, football, doesn't matter. You know, in any fight, you got to believe in yourself. Never go back. Want it more. Try harder. Tear down everyone else around you. You'll fight your way into the light. You will live the revenge.
Imagine!
Are you not listening to me? Yeah.
Top 11 2015. Be the special one. Download now for free.
At Temper, we believe whatever your shape or size, whether you're young or old, your mattress should conform to your body, not the other way around. That's why we offer a collection of mattresses and pillows that give you personalised support. Temper, so comfortable, all you'll feel is weightless.
What does it take for the RAF to respond to a humanitarian crisis? It takes air traffic controllers, engineers, RAF regiment gunners, aerospace battle managers, medics, chefs, full-timers, spare-timers, and you. Find your role in our online mission as a full-time regular or a spare-time reservist. Search RAF Recruitment now.
Win new customers. Present great projects. Reach new audiences. Take your success into your own hands with One&One My Website. Quick and easy for all business sectors, domain included. Optimized for Google. Try now. oneandone.co.uk.
This is sporting drama.
A new season of Premier League darts
Let the duels begin.
starts this Thursday at 7, only on Sky Sports.
Crown Trade sponsors Sky Sports News at 10, trusted by professionals.
Stay with us because the clock is ticking. There we are, 10 to 11. So 10 minutes to go until we hit the deadline. The deadline, remember, 12 o'clock, midnight in Scotland. But time running out for clubs trying to do business. We can tell you that we've just learned in the last few minutes that West Ham are admitting that they have failed in their attempt tonight to sign Emmanuel Adebayor on loan. So they tried and they failed to bring in Emmanuel Adebayor. But we hear there is still a glimmer of hope for Queen's Park Rangers and Harry Redknapp, who are still trying to get Adebayor to join them. We'll know very, very shortly. We'll also know what is going to happen at West Brom, because 3 deals on the go there, and West Brom desperately trying to get all 3 deals, Chris Hull, done. And are they going to get that done?
I think they're going to get 2 done, Jim, at the moment, and the third one is very much touch and go. My sources are telling me inside the nerve centre, Darren Fletcher, almost done. The Manchester United stalwart, almost 350 first-team appearances for Manchester United. Great signing by Tony Pulis, a holding midfielder. Carlton Cole. Tony Pulis wanted somebody who'd scored goals in the Premier League after losing 2 forwards today. He's got Carlton Cole. Very, very close indeed. That should be done any time soon as well. Martin Olsen, though, still not arrived here at West Bromwich Albion. That's also linked into the Graham Dorrans deal, and that one at this moment in time is looking very, very delicate indeed, Jim.
Right then, clock ticking, pressure is on. Steve Bruce is in Paris hoping to finalise a move for Senegal striker Damien Ndoye. Has struggled at medicals in the past. Tim Thornton, will it happen this time?
Well, they are very, very hopeful, I'm told, of getting this deal done. Now, Steve Bruce told me earlier that this one was up in the air, that talks were continuing. Well, those talks have continued long into the night. I can tell you the club secretary is with Steve Bruce out in Paris, so in terms of getting the paperwork done, no problem there, and senior club officials are here as well to get things sorted from this end. A lot of work has gone into this deal. It's a big deal as well. The fee agreed is £3 million, and they're hoping to get it done in the next few minutes. One bit of business has been done in the last 10 minutes or so. Young striker Greg Lure has gone out on a month's loan to Port Vale.
Thank you very much indeed. So, Liverpool haven't been able to bring in Danny Ings, but they have managed to hold on to all of their current players. So have they? Vinny, tell us more.
Yes, that's right, Jim. Danny Ings is a deal that will wait for another day. Of course, it didn't have to be completed today because if Danny Ings is going to see out the season with Burnley, then Liverpool will look to maybe get him on board in the summer, or at least cut a deal before then as well. As for keeping hold of players, well, Ricky Lambert was the potential departure this afternoon. Interest from Aston Villa. Certainly Liverpool could have commanded a fee there as well. It was left in the end up to Ricky Lambert, as I understand it, but Ricky Lambert choosing to stay with Liverpool and fight for his place. One other bit of news we're hearing as well, Jim, is that it looks as though Philippe Coutinho is close to signing a new deal with Liverpool that will keep him here until 2020. That deal not signed as yet, but as I say, Philippe Coutinho close to committing his long-term future to Liverpool once again.
All right, tick-tock, 7 minutes, 6 minutes 57 now to go. Let's go over to Leicester. Rob Dorset has been battling the conditions there all day long. Rob, have you got anything for us?
Well, it's done and dusted here, I have to say, at Leicester as the snow falls late on in the evening here, a few minutes to go before the transfer window closes. But Leicester have ultimately given up on trying to get anybody else in on this transfer window before that deadline closes. Over the piece, they're pretty happy with what they got. Nigel Pearson wanted more Premier League experience. He wanted goals. They'd already signed Mark Schwarzer in goal from Chelsea. That gave them Premier League experience. They got Andrej Kramaric in, of course, the Croatian striker, for £7.5 million. They hope he will provide goals. The other bit they put in the cog today was Robert Huth, and when you look at these pictures that we filmed almost 14 hours ago now at at Leicester's training ground here, he was the first Premier League signing of the day, if you like. 240 games Robert Huth has played in the Premier League. That's only 91 fewer than Leicester City as a club have managed in the Premier League. Nigel Pearson is quite pleased with the business he's done. He thinks he's got that experience that could help keep them in the Premier League.
Thanks very much, Rob. We're also live at Sunderland. It's been a relatively quiet day. Mark Benstead can bring us right up to date with what's been going on. Mark.
Yeah, it certainly has. Jim, we've had a couple of deadline day late calls in recent seasons, but not the case today. Jermaine Defoe was always going to be the big deal for Sunderland this month, and that was wrapped up a couple of weeks ago. It was always unlikely that Gus would do any business coming into the club today unless it was something special, something last minute, something out of the blue. That hasn't materialised. Instead, the focus has been on players going out of the club. Cabral, about an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago, it was confirmed he's left the club by mutual consent. He arrived having played Champions League football, Europa League football with Basel. Hasn't worked for him here, so he moves on to try and find another club. Mavrias, the Greek winger as well, he also moves on, at least temporarily. He signed a loan deal until the end of the season to return to Panathinaikos to try and kick-start his career. But overall, pretty quiet here on Wearside. We always expected it though, but Gus Poyet pretty content with the work he's done so far. Of course, Jermaine Defoe, that key signing for Sunderland to get them the goals to go up the table.
Mark, thanks very much. Less than 5 minutes to go. Let's go to Tottenham. A few ins, a few outs. And Paul Gilmer, the story of Emmanuel Adebayor. We're hearing here that the top brass at Tottenham did not want Adebayor to go to a rival, and that rival was West Ham.
Yes, Jim, completely. That is our understanding of it. There was some suggestion Daniel Levy did not want to pay Emmanuel Adebayor to play for one of Tottenham's rivals, and still plenty going on even at this late stage. Sky sources telling us with a view to Dele Alli, a medical is complete. Dele Alli has left the training ground. We understand that £5 million fee. He will be loaned back to MK Dons for the season. Nothing official from the clubs yet. As for Etienne Capoue, he turned down a move to West Brom earlier. He will stay at Tottenham until the end of the season at least. And as you've been saying, what do the final moments hold for Emmanuel Adebayor? Could he yet end up at Queen's Park Rangers, or will he stay at Tottenham? If Adebayor does leave, it's my understanding that Spurs are unlikely to look for a replacement. They're happy with Harry Kane, who signed that 5.5-year contract, new and improved contract extension today. Also Soldado as well, and they've got options who can play there, or indeed behind the striker, Eriksen, Lamela, Chadley. So Tottenham very happy with their squad. Mauricio Pochettino happy with his squad. And as for the confirmed deals, Aaron Lennon, that has been confirmed, on loan to Everton, and Benoit Asuakoto, he has been released by Tottenham.
All right, let's get over to Manchester City. Fraser Dainton is there for us. 3 minutes to go. Anything happening, Fraser?
Well, City have been known in the past for the odd spectacular deadline day deal, but it doesn't look like that is going to happen here tonight. We've been told fairly early on that the chances of anybody joining today were very, very slim, and so it has turned out to be. But given the fact that they managed to bring in Wilfried Bonny a couple of weeks into the transfer window itself, I think they'll be pretty happy with the business that they've done.
Thank you very much indeed. Niall, I'll tell you what, it's interesting. This Emmanuel Adebayor situation has got everybody talking tonight. Sure. West Ham were really trying to push this one along, and Adebayor was saying, I want to go. But we hear the top brass at Spurs said, no, you're not going there.
Not a huge surprise, both in terms of the West Ham being so close to them in the league, and also there's a little bit of history between the clubs, and whether that came into it, I don't know, over the stadium, for instance, or maybe it was something totally different. But, yeah, it's you can see Daniel Levy taken a hard line on that.
Paul, does it surprise you that Tottenham would push that hard to say, no, you ain't going?
Yeah, definitely. I can really understand that. I mean, especially you probably have to pay half of his wages as well. I think, for me, no, it's a no-go.
We understood, sorry, a time ago that Harry was still trying to get Adebayor to Queen's Park Rangers. We still don't know if that's happening. I mean, they're all still talking as we understand it.
Well, hopefully, if they can get him, I mean, that would really enhance their chances of staying up. I think the lad's different class, and Harry could get him playing, there's no doubt about that.
West Brom as well, we were talking about them, weren't we, all evening?
Yeah.
Trying to get 3 players over the line. Darren Fletcher, Carlton Cole, Martin Olsen. Looks unlikely to happen at this stage, you'd have to say, wouldn't you?
Well, it can be pretty chaotic at this time, and they're inside there trying to frantically get things done and get some paperwork put together. And it's this moment in time when who has the upper hand? Is the agent going to say, we'll hold it back? You know, the medicals are happening at the same time. Good luck to them. It's the toughest time of all when you've got a deal and you're trying to get it through by that clock.
Exactly. Well, Niall, I mean, Chris Hull, who has been telling us that he thinks 2 out of the 3 will get there because Darren Fletcher is there and has been there for some time. It looks like he's going to join West Brom. Carlton Cole has been there and he got there before Darren Fletcher. But Martin Olsen is trying to get there, but he's not there yet. So we just have to wait and see. This is what happens when we're into the last minute of deadline day, and you can see that clock behind Niall and behind Paul. We have now 45 seconds to go. What we can tell people, Kate, is that another window comes and goes. Although we're in February, the January transfer window is closed. Not so fast, Mr. Merson. Paul Merson, we can exclusively reveal, was heading for a taxi half an hour ago, folks. But he ain't going anywhere. We can assure him of that. Paul and Niall will stay with us so we can have a look at what deals actually did make it and what deals didn't. So the deadline has come and gone. We're through the 11 o'clock deadline, 12 o'clock in Scotland. But let's head to Hayley to find out the very latest.
That's it, isn't it? No, no, no. Never it, is it? Things still ticking over that we hear about from now until midnight. And as Jim mentioned, the deadline is not over yet. In Scotland, deals can be done right up until midnight currently with Scotland's finest, Brian Swanson, who can tell us about the deals that can still be done.
It all comes down, Haley, to this deal sheet. This is the Premier League deal sheet that's in place. And what happens is Premier League clubs have had until 9 p.m, until just now, 11 p.m, to submit their intention of signing a player. What that means is it buys them a little bit of time. They've got up to 2 hours for non-international signings. They've got just under an hour if it's international. But what that means is that the paperwork can be completed as late as 1 a.m, but they have to have told the Premier League by now that they want to sign a particular player.
So it is definitely not over from us.
All right, let's talk a bit more about Chelsea and their big move today. Juan Cuadrado went over the line today, 26.1 million. What's he going to bring to Chelsea now?
Well, more attacking flair and a work rate and an ethos that Jose Mourinho loves. An exciting player, can take players on, can create, and his career is really flourishing. And I'm sure, you know, Jose has looked at him long and hard for some time now, and he fits their plan. That lovely, exciting Chelsea going forward that we see now, those players that sit in front of Matic and Fabregas. There's a lovely line of three at times. He's going to be pushing for a place in amongst them, and I think it's a real good signing. If any of them suffer loss of form, if there's an injury in there, nothing changes at Chelsea, and they've got themselves a real good player.
Now, Paul, we'll come back to you in a second. We told you it's not over till it's over. Let's go back to West Brom and Chris Hull. Chris.
Jim, real drama here because Sky sources are telling us that there is a problem with the Carlton Cole deal to West Brom from West Ham. There was a little bit of speculation earlier today that West Ham United wanted a fee for Cole as well. We're not sure whether that's the issue, but our sources at Sky are telling us that there's a problem with the deal. We're going to be here for some time to come, and we're going to be able to clarify that one for you. We know that Darren Fletcher is very close. The Manchester United veteran, Tony Pulis, was delighted to get him. He thought he also had Carlton Cole, an England international with 7 caps, a man who scored goals in the Premier League. And Tony Pulis, after losing 2 strikers today, thought he had a man who could score goals from him in the Premier League in this important run-in as West Bromwich Albion try to avoid relegation. We're onto it right now. We're trying to establish the very reason why sources are telling us that Carlton Cole is off.
Absolutely, we'll keep
Chris,
right on that story.
Yeah, just in the passing, you think you might have the answer to that?
Well, I'm just saying if Adebayor isn't coming to West Ham, does West Ham turn around and say, well, listen, we can't let you go, you've got to make your way back? It could be. It's just these kind of things happen at late on.
There was a late bit of news regarding Southampton. Ryan Bertrand, and this is a good one for Southampton. Cavi's been there all day. Cavi, what can you tell us?
Yes, what a 24 hours it has been for Ryan Bertrand. Yesterday he was sent off against Swansea. Today he has signed a 4.5-year deal with Southampton. Of course, he moved here on loan from Chelsea in the summer as a replacement for Luke Shaw. But he's done so well, he's been so impressive that Southampton were working very hard behind the scenes to make that loan into a permanent transfer during this window. It was touch and go whether they could do that, but with minutes to spare, it has been confirmed confirmed that Ryan Bertrand has signed a 4.5-year deal here at Southampton. Of course, this carries on this Chelsea policy of buying and selling players. We've seen Schuler leave, we've seen Salah leave, and now Ryan Bertrand had also left Stamford Bridge. And Southampton are really getting a young player with a lot of pedigree. He played, I think, 57 times for Chelsea. Also, of course, played in the European Cup final when Chelsea lifted that trophy against Bayern Munich. So he's a very, very experienced player. And it's also almost seems as if Southampton haven't missed Luke Shaw at all, the way he's slotted in at left back. The only little bit of bad news for him is that he will miss the next 3 games because of that red card he picked up yesterday. But overall, you have to say this has been a very good window for Southampton. They've managed to hold on to all their big players, and they've managed to add Filip Djurtic from Benfica, also a Laya who joined earlier in the window, and now this great news that Ryan Bertrand has signed on a 4.5-year deal from Chelsea.
Well, we've heard the bongs of Big Ben, but still plenty bubbling under low down in the pyramid. And now some breaking news from the Football League, and Birmingham have confirmed Demarai Gray is staying at the club. Birmingham rejected a bid of £5 million from Bournemouth for the 18-year-olds earlier today. Bolton, though, have signed Barry Bannon on loan from Crystal Palace for the rest of the season. The Scotland midfielder tweeted earlier that he joined Neil Lennon's side, and the club have now confirmed that information. Remember, Chung Yong Lee has moved the other way, signing for Crystal Palace for an undisclosed fee. Wigan have just signed Leon Clark on loan from Wolves until the end of the season. Chesterfield have completed the signing of Owen Doyle from Cardiff for an undisclosed 7-figure fee. Meanwhile, Cardiff have signed Matt Kennedy on loan from Everton for an undisclosed fee.